Oke, baiklah, saya sambut dulu, saya sapa dulu pemirsa Scott Indonesia dimanapun berada di seluruh dunia ya. Jadi malam hari ini kita kedatangan special guest ya, tamu spesial dari negeri yang jauh ya. Beliau ini Yahudi asli. Beliau ini juga lulusan dari Cambridge University ya, di mana concern dari beliau ini adalah membahas Abrahamic faith ya, atau iman Abraham. Nah, jadi dia nanti akan mengemukakan kajian-kajian dia yang tentu saja akan menarik untuk kita simak ya. Jadi nanti kita akan terjemahkan juga sebagian ya, kalau misalnya nanti ada kata-kata yang sulit. Ya saya rasa pemirsa juga nggak buta-buta amat ya dengan bahasa Inggris, jadi nanti tetap ngerti. Jadi nanti akan kita terjemahkan dan kita di sini akan mengupas At-Taubah ya, surat At-Taubah dari 2931. Nanti kita fokusnya ke 31. Okay? Here we go.
Very good.
Brother Joe. Okay.
Shalom, thank you for having me on the show today. It's good to be here, and hello to everybody. All right, and so today I was invited to come and talk about some passages which from the Quran, which I have a method of reversing the influence of Abbasidism, shall we call it Abbasidism, in order to find out what these verses in the Quran might have said before the Abbasids started tampering with them, started playing around with them. So I have a technique to do that. And sometimes we find that the meaning of these verses is completely opposite to what Muslims are familiar with. Do you want to help the audience understand that so far?
Brother Edis, yeah, please.
Oke. Mas maju dulu aja, Bapak. Lanjut dulu.
Oke, jadi pada dasarnya Brother Red Judaism ini dia akan membahas sesuatu yang dengan menggunakan metode apa tadi namanya itu ya, metode saya lupa tadi apa namanya itu Bang Edis. What kind of your method? Sorry.
So it reverses the effects of Abbasidism.
Ya, itu untuk melihat metode yang Abbasidism. Saya juga kurang paham, tapi ini adalah sebuah metode yang akan dia perkenalkan ke kita juga, yang dia aplikasikan nanti untuk memahami ayat-ayat Al-Quran gitu. Ya, go ahead.
Okay, so my approach might be very unfamiliar to many people. I'm approaching it to try and why would I want to try and get rid of Abbasidism? Why would that be necessary? And the reason is because everything that passed through the Abbasid hands, every piece of evidence which passes through their hands is considered like contaminated or corrupted, because some of the things they told us about the origins of Islam simply cannot be verified by any independent objective means.
Okay, it's too long. Please give me a time. Okay. So jadi metode ini mungkin tidak familiar dengan banyak orang ya. Jadi mungkin ini adalah sebuah metode baru yang akan nanti kita lihat bersama-sama juga. Nah, ini kenapa dia melakukan ini? Ini sangat penting ya. Kenapa penting? Karena ini ini nanti akan dibandingkan dengan apa yang sering kita dengar dari narasi-narasi Islam yang selama ini, yang justru nanti akan sering berkebalikan dengan apa yang kita dengar selama ini dari Muslim gitu. Itu yang metode ini. Jadi sekali lagi mungkin metode ini baru didengar oleh orang-orang di luar sana gitu ya. Go ahead.
Right. So, for example,
please make it simple. So I'm really, yeah.
So for an example of how something which can't be verified by any independent means is the existence of any civilization in the place which is called Mecca in central Hijaz.
Oke,
In the
jadi
beginning, it's just nothing there.
Oke, jadi yang dia bilang ini adalah misalnya di dalam narasi-narasi Muslim itu ada hal-hal yang tidak bisa diverifikasi, misalnya tentang penyebutan Mekah ya, dan itu sulit untuk divalidasi kebenarannya.
So we have serious academics like Peter von Sivers of Utah University, who says that perhaps it began in the Syrian desert.
Jadi ada penelitian yang sudah berkembang saat ini. Saya kurang tahu apa tadi nama penelitiannya, itu sepertinya ada istilah ilmiah. Nah, di dalam istilah itu sepertinya justru Islam ini dimulai dari gurun Syria ya. Ya, padang gurun Syria. Oke.
That was Peter von Sivers of Utah University, and then Fred Donner of Chicago University is open-minded to the possibility that it might have been all happening in Jerusalem or in South Iraq.
Nah, terus ada juga universitas yang lain ya justru mengatakan mungkin saja Islam ini dimulai dari Yerusalem atau di
Dari selatan Irak.
Ya, di sebelah selatan
South
Irak
Iraq.
gitu.
South Iraq, yeah. So I'm basically siding with major academics on this opinion. I think I support Fred Donner's opinion that it could be South Iraq might be the most rational explanation for where these things began. But anyway, that is very different from what the Abbasids tell us. So we have to look for anything other than Abbasid sources to try and find out what was actually happening at the beginning of the Islam.
Oke, jadi itu brothernya Red Judaism kayaknya lebih cocok dengan ini ya, dengan informasi yang mana Islam itu dia lebih prefer Islam ini dimulai dari Irak Selatan.
Irak.
Ya, Irak Selatan ya. Dan meskipun demikian ini yang akan dia bicarakan ya. Dia akan melihat nanti tentang klaim-klaim dari yang dari Abbasid inilah, zaman Abbasid kan.
Yeah. Okay, so looking for something other than what the Abbasids give us, we have examples of Quranic inscriptions and Quranic materials like the Sana manuscripts, which are written in what's called rasm.
Nah, ini yang kita bisa lihat dari Abbasid ini, misalnya mereka memberikan kita misalnya manuskrip,
bukti peninggalan manuskrip dan
ya,
juga
manuskrip
inskripsi.
Ya, misalnya manuskrip Sana'a, ya itulah contohnya yang diberikan oleh dari zaman Abbasid ini gitu. Bang Edi sajalah, saya kurang konsen.
Oke, Bapak. Oke.
So I'm going to show.
Alright, go ahead.
Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm going to share an image on the screen now to just in case people are not aware of what rasm looks like. I'm going to share a picture of the inscriptions around the Dome of the Rock in Jerusalem, so people can see what the rasm looks like. So I'll just.
I'm sorry, Joe. We didn't catch you at the first. Can you repeat again, please?
I'm going to share an image now of the inscriptions around the Dome of the Rock, on the inside of the Dome of the Rock in Jerusalem, the Kubbat al-Sakhra in Jerusalem, so that the audience can see what rasm looks like.
Jadi Brother Red Judaism akan menampilkan beberapa gambar yang ada di dalam the Dome of the Rock supaya kita tahu seperti apa rasm yang dimaksud itu. Yeah, go ahead to share your screen, please.
All right, then. Just have a look and see if I can get this up here. So, is that sharing? Can you see that?
Yes, your screen is
sharing.
Your screen
so, if I just zoom in on this, you will see what it looks like in rasm. What does rasm look like? So, if I just zoom in here, and this part up here. I just discussed this part last time with Edis on Edis TV,
Yeah, all right.
This is actually part of Surah 4, verse 171.
Iya, ini adalah
Ya,
oke. Siapa? Bang Scott tanya atau saya?
langsung aja Bang.
Oke, jadi yang dimaksud rasem ini adalah tulisan mentah ya, tulisan mentah dari zaman Abbasid, di mana tulisan-tulisan ini seperti yang nampak pada gambar itu belum ada semacam harokat ya, belum ada tanda baca, dan ini juga tertulis di dalam Al-Baqarah. Al-Baqarah? What Al-Baqarah?
This is Surah Nisa. This is Surah
Anissa.
An-Nisa, verse 171. This part is
Oh,
here.
Oke.
This part.
Anissa 141.
Yeah.
Iya.
And you can see there's no harakat. There's almost no dots at all. If we look at this one here, this interesting, which as we discussed last time, this red box, this is actually alif and nun, and there's not even a dot with the nun. It's just missing. But this says inna. This is alif and nun. So modern people might think that this is alif resh, ra, for example. They might think this is an r. This is a nun. And so there are many dots.
Let me
and
translate
things
it first.
missing. Yeah.
Oke. Jadi seperti yang kita lihat ya, kalau memang nampaknya itu seperti tulisan alif dan ro ya, padahal itu sebenarnya alif dan nun. Nah, jadi itu bacanya inna. Inna itu artinya sesungguhnya.
Yeah. And there
Indeed.
are many other examples of missing haraka, but not just haraka, also many dots are missing. So this is how the Quranic materials looked like in the 7th century, in the Umayyad times, before the Abbasids changed it.
Oke, jadi intinya seperti apa yang kita lihat sekarang itu mengalami perubahan dengan apa yang kita lihat dulu dengan apa yang kita lihat sekarang itu ada perbedaan-perbedaan, dan itu nanti akan diuraikan oleh Berjo.
Ya, jadi saya tambahkan. Jadi yang ditampilkan ini, yang kita lihat ini adalah rasem yang ada di masa Muawiyah itu, yang di masa Abbasid itu. Gitu. Ini contoh-contohnya. Silakan.
Okay, so that's what that was. Now we're going to, with this in mind, we're going to look at some word-for-word translation of the Islamic Quran, Surah 9, verse 30 and 31. And we're going to take away all of the harakah, and we're going to see what it might actually say after we've taken away the harakah.
Jadi kita, pada kesempatan ini kita akan melihat kata per kata, dan kita akan tidak menggunakan semua harakat-harakat itu, dan kita lihat secara khusus pada ayat At-Taubah 30 ya, At-Taubah ya,
30 dan
31, dan kita akan lihat apa sebetulnya arti yang sebenarnya.
Okay, so let's share that. Put that on the. It's sharing. Can you see that now?
Yes.
No? Yeah. Okay, here we go. So this is Surah 9, verse 30, and we'll look at 31 as well. So what we have here, this is using corpus.quran.com word by word. We don't want to use translations. Translations are always presenting us with an Abbasid narrative.
Oke, jadi ini adalah apa yang kita lihat di screen ini dari korpus Quran. Kita melihatnya itu translasi kata per kata. Kita tidak menggunakan terjemahan yang dari Abbasid ya. Di sini kita melihatnya kata per kata.
Iya, karena terjemahan dari Abbasid itu dia itu seperti merepresentasikan pandangan dari Abbasid gitu loh. Jadi kita singkirkan dulu itu, kita buang semua tanda baca harokahnya. Okay.
Right. So, and the words we're looking at here, you can see they have harakah on them. But we're going to ignore all of the harakah, and we're going to get different meanings.
Nah, jadi kalau kita lihat di sini, ini semua kata-kata ini ada harakatnya gitu ya. Nah, apa yang akan kita lakukan adalah kita buang semua harakat ini, dan kita akan melihat nanti arti yang sebenarnya gitu.
Now, some of you might say, wait, hold on a second. When you remove all the harakah, there's no way to understand what it's saying. It's so difficult.
Jadi mungkin beberapa di antara Bapak Ibu mengatakan ya kalau semua harakatnya di apa namanya dihapuskan, bagaimana mengartikannya itu sangat sulit.
But in fact, it's really easy if you use a particular dialect of a language called Judeo-Arabic.
Tetapi itu bisa dimungkinkan ya, itu tidak terlalu rumit, justru sangat mudah ketika kita menggunakan dialek yang disebut dengan dialek Judeo-Arabic atau Aramik Yudea.
Judeo-Arabic as opposed to
Judeo-Arabic. Judeo-Arabic. Oke. Oke, Arabi Yudea, ya.
Yeah. So what it looks like the Abbasids did is they inserted all of this haraka and other changes to change what was originally a Judeo-Arabic text into a Quraysh dialect.
Jadi apa yang dilakukan oleh Abbasid ini sebetulnya Abbasid itu menambahkan harakat-harakat ini sehingga supaya bisa dibaca di dalam bahasa dialek Quraisy.
That's right. So this is verse is saying and said the Jews, and we have that first one al-Yahudu. But if we look at the haraka, it's just al-Yahud, and it doesn't say al-Yahudu. It's just al-Yahud, which is very strange because Yahud is not even a word. It's part of a word. It's not a name. The word for Jews would be Yahudi or Yahudia, but this doesn't even say Yahudi. It's just Yahud, which is like saying the name Judas, for example.
Oke, jadi gini.
Too long, Brother Red. Please make it short ya.
Oke, saya jelasin gini aja. Jadi itu kalau kita baca, itu kan bacaannya al ya, alif, lam, ya, kemudian ha, kemudian waw dan dal. Nah, kemudian kalau teman-teman buang itu ada tulis seperti tanda kecil atas itu ya, itu namanya tanda u ya. Nah, di atas itu ada semacam garis itu tanda baca. Nah, itu sebenarnya kalau dia dihilangkan itu bacanya seperti Yahud. Nah, itu seperti kata tidak ada artinya gitu.
Yeah. And this
Oke, lanjut.
This is a name.
Seperti nama gitu, seperti nama.
Yeah. You would in Aramaic or in Syriac, this would be Yehuda, and if you take the a at the end of Yehuda, the a at the end of Yehuda in Aramaic and in Syriac is the word the. It's the definite article, al. So then you're left with just the word Yahud, translated, al, Yahud. And this is actually the meaning the Judas. So it refers to somebody who is a Judas. And the word Judas in the well, let's just translate what I just said so far.
Oke, jadi ini nampak seperti sebuah nama begitu ya. Kalau do you mean if this like Yahudi, do you mean this needs a letter ha?
Yeah, so this is just the root is al-Yahud is a direct translation into Judeo-Arabic from the Aramaic Yahud a. So the a turns into al and the rest of the word is the same.
Gimana ini yang agak sulit juga ini nerjemahinnya. Oke, lanjut aja dulu. Go ahead, Joe.
All right, and so what we have is al-Yahud, which is a translation of Yahud a in Syriac or in Aramaic. And this word is just a name, Judas. The Judas.
Oke. Jadi ini menurut Joe, ini nampak seperti sebuah nama ketimbang satu komunitas atau Yahudi ya. Inilah seperti kata Yudas seperti itu.
The Judas. And a Judas in the context means a traitor, somebody who betrays Jesus. You know, Judas betrayed Jesus. So a Judas is somebody who turns his back on Jesus.
Iya, jadi arti dari Yudas itu sendiri itu seperti betray ya, pengkhianatan semacam itu, seperti kata pengkhianatan.
Judas. So in fact now when you understand this, suddenly there are no verses in the Quran which are against the Jews. There are only verses in the Quran which are against the Judases, but there is nothing against the Jews.
Iya, jadi
silakan.
Oke, lanjut Bang Suat, lanjut.
Jadi kalau diartikan demikian, maka ini di dalam Al-Qur'an menjadi tidak ada kata Yahudi ya, tidak ada kata yang menentang Yahudi. Justru kalau kita lihat ini yang berhubungan dengan Yudas gitu.
So when I discovered this, I was very interested because I come from a Jewish background, and I had always thought that the Quran was anti-Semitic and hated Jews. But then suddenly, when I understood this, I realized that there are no verses in the Quran which are against the Jews.
Jadi ketika Joe ini mengetahui hal ini agak sedikit menarik bagi dia karena background dia adalah seorang Yahudi juga, dia seorang Yahudi. Nah, jadi kita sudah tahu bahwa selama ini kita tahu Al-Quran ini sepertinya sangat membenci orang Yahudi, tetapi ketika ini diartikan seperti ini, tidak ada sebetulnya ayat Al-Quran yang membenci orang Yahudi, justru kalau diartikan ini merujuk kepada Yudas bukan Yahudi gitu.
Yeah. So then I was able to make sense of this verse, which is rather strange because it says that the Jews say that Uzair is the son of God. And I actually realized that this is not talking about Jews. This is about what we call Judaizers, people who come from a Christian background and then they turn their back on Christianity and become Judaizers. They become Judases. And you might be familiar, I understand that you even have in Indonesia now, you have some people who are Judaizers. And you might be familiar with their argument saying, Jesus is nothing special as the Son of God because every Jew is a son of God. Have you heard that argument?
Ya. Jadi ini menjadi menarik lagi karena kalau kita lihat ini justru ini merujuk kepada paham Yudais ya. Yudais, dan ini mungkin di Indonesia juga ada orang-orang kelompok seperti ini yang percaya hal yang sama juga. Ya, kalau di dalam ayat Al-Quran ini kan dibilang kan Uzair adalah anaknya Allah. Anak Allah. Nah, kalau di Indonesia mungkin ada juga paham yang kita dengar bahwa orang Yahudi juga anak-anak Tuhan gitu. Jadi itu mirip-mirip seperti itulah.
So this then I realized and I understood this passage is actually talking about those Judaizers, and the word which they translate here, they say Uzair. In English, I don't know how you say it. It's probably in Indonesian, it's probably Uzair, but in English it's Ezra. And this is supposed to be the Hebrew word Ezra, but we have two words in Hebrew, Ezra. They're very different meanings.
Oke, jadi ya silakan Bang.
Ya, lanjut aja Bang. In Indonesia it's the same. We call Uzair.
Uzair. Okay.
Ya, jadi kalau di dalam bahasa Indonesia kita di dalam ayat ini kan disebutkan Uzair ya. Nah, tetapi di dalam bahasa Yahudi ini kata ini justru Ezra. Nah, dan Ezra ini memiliki makna ganda gitu.
Now there are two words Ezra, and they both have an H at the end. In Hebrew, one of them, Ezra, means it's got a slightly hard H at the end. Ezrach, slightly hard.
Jadi ada dua pengertian Ezra di dalam Yahudi. Ada yang Ezra yang punya H di depan.
Belakang, Bang.
Oh, di belakang, sorry.
So this word Ezrach with a harder H, it means a homeborn Jew. And then as opposed to the other word Ezra with a soft H, this means the prophet Ezra.
Nah, jadi Ezra yang satu, pengertian Ezra yang lain itu adalah merujuk kepada Nabi Ezra.
Alright, so if this was this was taken away, if we take away all the haraka, of course this word here, Ezra, it actually says Azir, Uzair. This word, Azir, is actually the Judo-Arabic word for Ezrach, not for Prophet Ezra.
Jadi kalau ini harakat dihilangkan, yang kata Uzair ini justru di dalam kalau dibaca di huruf yang aslinya itu tanpa harakat itu justru Ezrach yang merujuk kepada Nabi Ezra ya.
Not Nabi Ezra, that's right. So then suddenly we see that this verse is actually against those Judaizers, those Judases who say Jesus is not the Son of God. Any homeborn Jew is a son of God. And that's what it's actually saying here. Any Jew is a son of God. Any Ezrach, any citizen, any Jewish citizen, any homeborn Jew. That's what it means.
Jadi kalau kita artikan ayat ini, justru ayat ini memberi pengertian berbeda ya. Justru diartikan bahwa siapapun atau orang Yahudi itu ya anak-anak Tuhan gitu. Justru itu arti ayat ini.
All right. So that's the first part of this done when it says that. And said the Jews say that Uzair is the son of Allah. We now understand that it says, and the Judases say that any Jew is the son of Allah.
Jadi kalau diartikan ayat ini, jadi dibilang orang Yahudi mengatakan bahwa Yudais itu orang-orang Yudais itu anak-anak Allah gitu.
Okay, I hope that was clear. So now let's move on to the next part of this. Now it says, and said the Christians, the Messiah is the son of Allah. Okay.
Jadi kalau kita lanjut ke kata berikutnya, itu dikatakan Nasrani adalah anak-anak Allah.
But the Arabic word for Christian, this is very, very mysterious. The correct and ancient Arabic word for Christian is al-Masihi.
Tetapi ini kata ini menjadi misteri. Tetapi kata yang aslinya justru al-Masihi.
This is a very old word, and it's known from Arabic liturgies long before the Quran.
Ini adalah kata yang sangat kuno yang sudah dikenal sebelum ada Al-Quran.
So we have a big question because the word Masihi, which actually means Christian, and is very old, older than the Quran, it's just not in the Quran.
Jadi ini menjadi menarik karena Masihi ini adalah sebuah kata yang sangat kuno dan sebetulnya tidak ada di dalam Al-Quran.
So you have to think yourself, if the Quran was attacking Christians, why doesn't it even one time mention Al-Masihi or Masihiin?
Jadi kalau Al-Quran sebetulnya menyerang kekristenan, kenapa sekalipun tidak menyebutkan tentang Al-Masih?
So anyway, the Abbasids have told us that this word Nasra, they tell us it means Christians. But this is also very suspicious.
Tapi apapun ceritanya, orang-orang Abbasid mengatakan ke kita bahwa kata itu artinya Kristen gitu, Nasrani.
But actually, the word here, if we look, it says Al-Nasri.
Tapi justru kata di situ justru dikatakan An-Nasri.
Nasri, which is like Notsri. It's another Hebrew word, and it refers to a group of Jews who are what we call in English royalists.
Jadi justru ini adalah kalau di dalam bahasa Ibrani, justru ini merujuk kepada suatu kelompok di dalam orang-orang Yahudi yang disebut sebagai royalis. Could you please elaborate a little bit what kind of royalis?
Royalists. So I'll explain royalist. Yeah, royalists means people who support a royal family.
Okay, so royalis itu adalah semacam kelompok-kelompok yang sebetulnya mendukung keluarga gitulah.
Now this royal family in Judaism, the royal family for the Jews, from which we get everybody who claims or wants to claim to be the Messiah in the Jewish community has to be from a group of people called the Netzarim.
Jadi sorry, could you please repeat again?
In Judaism, anybody who wants to claim to be the Messiah in Judaism has to be from a family called the Netzarim.
Jadi setiap orang Yahudi itu kalau dia mau mengklaim bahwa dirinya itu adalah Mesias, dia itu harus berasal dari keturunan Mesias juga. Nah, ini yang dimaksud dengan kelompok-kelompok royalis itu tadi. Royalis. Artinya dia pendukung kelompok-kelompok yang mengategorikan mereka itulah keturunan-keturunan Mesias yang akan melahirkan Mesias itu.
Bangsawan kayaknya. Keluarga terpandang.
That family name is called Netzarim. Netzarim. It comes from the small
Do you mean
word.
Do you mean descent of the kings?
Yes. The word Netzer, it comes, and this is here in the Arabic here, we can see it's Netzer. Netzer. Netzer And Netzari means a follower of the Netzer. And Netzer is the root word. This is the word, we get this word, Hebrew word Netzarim from it. This word Netzer means scion, S-C-I-O-N. Do you know what that means, scion?
No idea.
A scion, it's a great word in English. I don't know which word you would use in Indonesian to translate it, but it's a great word. It translates exactly the Hebrew word, which means if you have a tree and you cut the tree down, you start to get these shoots shooting up from the root. They shoot up. The tree starts to try and grow again, and it shoots up these little scions. We call them scions. And
All right,
Tunas,
the same.
tunas.
Yes.
Do you want to translate
Silakan,
that?
Bang.
Yeah, we got. Do you mean like a apa sih baca? Like a seed, like seed?
It's not a seed. No, they're little
Seed of a tree?
branches. They're little branches.
Branch.
If you cut off the tree, it's like these little branches start to come up from the tree trunk, from the root. They shoot up because the tree is trying to grow again. Sometimes you don't kill the tree when you cut it down.
Tunas atau cabang bahasa
Tunas.
Indonesia.
Yeah, we got it.
You got it. So this in Hebrew, this word is netzer.
Jadi di dalam Ibrani disebut netzar, ini kata ini gitu.
Exactly. So the netzer refers to the shoot which comes up from the tree which has been cut down. And it also means, the translated word in English, scion, also means a member of a royal family or a member of a royal line. Scion, same word. And then in Hebrew, it's exactly the same as well. The word netzer means this kind of shoot which comes up from the tree, but it also means a member of the royal family.
Jadi kalau kita lihat arti ini, justru kalau di dalam Ibrani justru diartikan kata ini bisa berarti tunas, juga bisa berarti berasal dari keluarga kerajaan ya, atau keluarga terpandang lah.
So this royal family is the royal family of David, the house of David.
Jadi kelompok ini berasal dari keturunan Daud lah.
So when we talk about the netzer, or the netzarim, plural in Hebrew, netzarim.
Jadi ketika kita berbicara tentang orang-orang Netzarim ini,
we're talking about the sons or the members of the house of David, the shoots of the house of David, the branches of the house of David.
Ini berbicara tentang tunas atau orang-orang di dalam keluarga Daud.
Now, if you have this word netzer and you have a ya at the end, that's a netzari, means a follower of one of the branches or a follower of the royal family.
Jadi ini justru kata ini bisa diartikan sebagai pengikut dari keluarga Netzari ini atau keluarga dari Daud ini, dari keturunan Daud ini.
So that's exactly what we have in the meaning here. So instead of having Jews and Christians, we understand we now have Judases and members or followers of the Jewish royal family. So
jadi di dalam ayat ini bukannya kita mengartikan itu sebagai Yahudi seperti yang kita lihat dalam terjemahan ini, justru itu diartikan sebagai kelompok Yudaism tadi dan juga orang
seperti yang kita lihat dalam terjemahan ini, justru diartikan sebagai
itu feedback Bang Edis dan apa namanya ya. Jadi di dalam ayat ini sekali lagi kita mengartikan pertama dari kelompok Yudais dan yang kedua
di dalam ayat ini sekali lagi
di mute Bang Edis. Ya, feedback. Bang Edis di mute ya. Nah, jadi sekali lagi, oke, saya ulang ya. Di dalam ayat ini bukannya kita memahami sebagai orang Yahudi dan kekristenan, justru yang dimaksud di situ adalah orang atau kelompok Yudais dan orang-orang yang pengikut dari tunas Daud ini, gitu.
Okay, so this background information is really important to understand what comes next. It's really important that you have this clear in your heads.
Jadi ketika kita memahami ini sangat penting sekali supaya dipahami untuk memahami konteks selanjutnya.
Okay, so now it tells us that these royalists say that Al-Masih, the Messiah, ibn Allah, they say that the Messiah is God's son.
Jadi Jadi kalau kita lihat ayat ini bahwa pengikut-pengikut Nazari ini mengatakan bahwa Mesaya anak Allah adalah anak Allah.
And we see that there is obviously meant to be something similar about these Judaists or Judaizers, Judases, who say that any Jew is the son of God, and these royalists who say, no, only the Messiah is the son of God. But we have to understand it in that context. What it's saying is that from the royalists' point of view, any Messiah, that's, for example, Solomon, David, Saul, any of the Messiahs are the son of God.
Oke, jadi kalau kita lihat dalam ayat ini, orang-orang Yudais itu mengatakan bahwa setiap orang Yahudi itu anak-anak Allah. Terus dari pengikut-pengikut Nazarin ini atau dari keluarga kerajaan ini mengatakan setiap orang Mesaya itu adalah anak-anak Allah. Bisa juga misalnya termasuk Salomo, Daud, itu juga dianggap sebagai anak-anak Allah.
Yeah. So that's what's saying here. And this is really, really interesting because we'll see something next now. So it says that these Judaizers say that any Jew is the son of God. And these royalists say that, no, only the Messiah is the son of God, meaning the king is the son of God, any king. And that is okay.
Jadi sekali lagi di dalam ayat ini bahwa orang-orang Yudais ini mengatakan setiap orang Yahudi adalah anak-anak Allah. Tetapi pengikut keluarga kerajaan ini mengatakan oh bukan, justru itu anak-anak Allah adalah setiap keturunan raja tadi itu, yang Sulaiman, Daud gitu.
And it carries on to say that is the saying with their mouths, they imitate the saying of those who disbelieved before, may Allah destroy them, how deluded they are. Okay, you know the rest of the verse.
Yeah, so that's mean the rest of the verse is the correct translation.
It may be different slightly, but we'll leave it at that. It's not too different. It basically says that these people are wrong.
Oke, jadi untuk pengertian kata-kata selanjutnya itu tidak terlalu berbeda, tetapi yang paling penting itu tadi di kata-kata pengucapan yang Nasrani sama apa tadi? Nasrani sama what is the most important word? The
important thing is to understand that they are royalists and that they regard any king as the Messiah.
Yeah. Next.
All right then. So now we have in our minds that this verse is against groups of people who are turning towards Judaism or who are inside of Judaism, but have some different view from the person who's presenting this message. And it says that these two groups are wrong because they have taken their akhbarhum and their ruhbanhum. They have taken their akhbarhum and their ruhbanhum. They've taken their sort of teachers, essentially, as lords, besides min duni, instead of Allah wa al-Masih.
Where's Joe? I'm sorry, can you zoom? Can you make zoom? Can you zoom in?
Yeah, I can zoom in. I'll start that again, yeah. Make it bigger.
All right.
Okay. So these two groups are wrong because they have taken their akhbarhum and their rahbanhum. They translate this as rabbis and monks, which is really strange because akhbar and rabbi, it is not even comparable. And the word they translate as monk, as ruhbanhum, it's actually more like rabbi, actually. So akhbar is probably to do with their pastors because they were Judaizers. They were people who turned their backs on Jesus. And the second group, the Netzarim, the royalists, they would have rabbanim, they would have rabbis. So that's why it's rahbanhum as the second word. So these are the two words there. But it basically means their teachers. They've taken their teachers as lords besides min duni Allah wal Masih. Do you understand what that's saying?
Oke, kalau apa namanya? Kalau saya nggak salah begini ya. Jadi apa yang dimaksudnya ini artinya ayat ini mengatakan bahwa kelompok-kelompok yang sebelumnya yang ada di ayat 30 tadi itu dikatakan mereka itu salah karena mereka telah mengambil rabi-rabinya atau guru-gurunya itu menjadikan mereka itu sebagai tuhannya atau sebagai Allah lah kira-kira gitu.
Bukan, Arbabam itu bukan Allah. Arbabam itu Lord,
As lords,
Tuan, Tuan.
Sebagai
Yeah.
tuannya. Oh gitu. Oke.
min duni, beside who? Allah wa al-Masih. Allah wa al-Masih. They have taken them as lords instead of God and the Messiah.
Jadi mereka
Ignore the
menjadikan
haraka. This just says al-Masih. It doesn't say al-Masihah. It's just al-Masih. The haraka changes the grammar. But without the haraka, it's very clearly simply saying they have taken their teachers as lords instead of God and the Messiah. Meaning, who is Lord then?
Masih.
God and Messiah. Jesus is Lord. Which Messiah? Why is it distinguishing this Messiah from the previous Messiah? Because this Messiah is a very specific Messiah, not just any king, not just Dawood or Solomon or Saul. This Messiah is Al-Masih ibn Maryam. Do you
Ya,
understand?
jadi bukan hanya sekedar Mesias, tetapi sang Mesias ya, karena ada kata-kata al, ada kata sandang al. Jadi sebenarnya ada banyak Mesias, Daud juga Mesias ya, banyak Mesias, tapi Mesias yang di sini itu khusus, yaitu Son of Mary atau anak Maria.
So here we have what everybody thought was actually a verse saying the Christians are wrong because they've taken the Messiah as the Son of God. Actually is not saying that. It's saying the royalists, the Jewish royalists are wrong for saying that any Messiah is the Son of God, when the only Messiah who is the Son of God is the Messiah ibn Maryam.
Iya, jadi itu tuduhan-tuduhan itu justru sebenarnya tidak menentang kekristenan begitu, karena sang Mesias yang satu-satunya itulah yang sang Mesias anak Maryam itu.
All right, I'm ready for you to push back on this. Any questions? You can push back on this. I'm ready for comments.
All right. We have a guest here, 2 persons. I would like to invite them, Pujangga and Jemaat Online. I don't know if they have some questions for you. Good. Selamat malam Pak Pujangga. Salam, apa kabar Pak?
Oke, shalom alaikum. Shabbat shalom.
Thank you very much. Yes. Shabbat is coming soon. Shabbat shalom to you. It's in Indonesia, it must be Shabbat already. Shabbat shalom.
Happy Shabbat. Okay, thank you very much. Want to ask you,
Yes.
mungkin bisa ditranslate because saya tidak terlalu lancar untuk bahasa.
Tapi Bang Pujangga suaranya agak jauh gitu, biar nggak bernapas di mic.
Okay,
Okay, we will help you to translate. Don't worry.
Okay. Mr. Joe, if you read Quran, have you confused or not?
Not confused. No. I don't read it in Arabic.
I give you example about the Quran. Gods in the Quran created Adam or man in the heaven, but the Torah not the heaven.
Pak Pujangga, boleh nggak kita fokus ke topiknya dulu Pak?
Oh iya, aku nggak tahu. Ini topiknya apa? Sorry.
I understand.
At-Taubah 31. But we prefer to stay focus on the topic.
Okay,
Yeah,
very
aku tidak
simply,
tahu.
though, just in a very quick answer, then, in Judaism, we were created in heaven.
All right.
Repeat more.
I'm sorry, Joe. You said
In
in
Judaism,
Judaism,
the Garden of Eden,
humankind
Gan Eden, is in
in
heaven.
heaven.
Not
What
on
do you mean
earth.
in heaven? In heaven. Do you mean in heaven in earth or in heaven? Gan means like a garden.
Yes. Gan
Do you mean a
Eden.
garden in?
Well, it's off topic, but very quickly, just in Judaism, because people think that Judaism is the religion of the Old Testament as you read it in a sola scriptura sense. That's not Judaism. Judaism is what we call Mishnaic Judaism. We have a lot of stories as well as the Old Testament which help clarify the details. So in Judaism, we say that we were created in Gan Eden, which is in another world. It's called Yetzirah. This world is called Asya. And we were created in a world called Yetzirah. And then we left Yetzirah and we came down to this world, Asya. So this is not a contradiction.
Oke, jadi kata Joe itu apa namanya yang di dalam Messianic Judaism itu bukan hanya seperti perjanjian lama yang kita baca, tetapi ada juga sumber-sumber lain dan itu tidak kontradiksi. Tapi ada beberapa pertanyaan ini kepada Joe. But I'm confused what you're saying, Joe, because you said that the Garden of Eden in heaven, but the Bible says there are some rivers there.
That's right. This is, as I said, I'm a Jew. I practice Judaism. I'm a believer in Jesus. I'm a Jew for Jesus, and I didn't abandon my religion, Judaism. I still practice Judaism. I still study Judaism. I still attend a synagogue. I still learn from the rabbis. I simply add to Judaism my belief that Jesus is the Messiah as well. And in Judaism, our religion teaches us that Gan Eden is not of this world. It's a different world.
Baik, oke. Jadi Joe ini, ya, kawan kita Joe ini adalah orang Yahudi, ya. Tapi bukan seperti Yahudi yang lain. Jadi Joe ini percaya bahwa Yesus itu adalah Mesias. Tetapi apa yang Joe katakan, dia percaya bahwa yang dimaksud Taman Eden, ya, atau Joe, is this the Garden of Eden is the same of Firdaus?
Gan Eden.
Sorry, it's the same as what?
Firdaus, paradise.
Paradise.
Putus.
Yes, paradise.
That's the same.
Firdaus.
Yes, paradise is not of this world. It's a different world. This is beside we've gone off topic really, but it's an interesting topic for another. I'll come back and we can talk about it another time if you like.
Alright. Jadi gini, jadi sebelum kita fokus kembali ke tema, sedikit saya terjemahkan. Jadi yang dikatakan Joe bahwa yang dimaksud Taman Eden, ya, itu bukan di bumi. Sekalipun tadi saya mengatakan saya agak bingung karena di dalam Alkitab itu dikatakan bahwa ada sungai di situ mengalir, ada sungai Gihon, ada sungai sungai apa itu yang di Taman Eden? Ada 4 sungai kalau tidak salah. Ada Pison. Tapi itu tempatnya bukan di bumi. Menurut Joe.
They actually refer to constellations and stars, but it's a big topic on its own right. So it's not really good to start now. It'll take at least 1 hour to talk about it.
Okay. Let's focus to the topic. Okay.
Okay, I just want to remind everyone, if you have any questions related to the topic, please address your question to Joe. You can come in our room, then please stay on the topic. Next question, do you have another question, Pak Pujang? Ada pertanyaan lain, Pak Pujangga, yang berhubungan dengan topik?
Yes. Because topik kita apa hari ini?
So, topik kita hari ini adalah tentang At-Taubah 31, dan kita tadi membahasnya mulai dari ayat 30 sampai 31. Di dalam ayat itu selama ini kita dikasih tahu terjemahannya bahwa orang-orang Nasrani dan orang-orang Yahudi dan orang Nasrani itu mengambil rabinya itu sebagai Tuhan, ya, selain Allah dan Mesias gitu ya. Nah, ternyata ada di ayat 30 itu ada kesalahan penerjemahan ketika itu dipercaya oleh Joe, ya. Jadi ketika harakatnya itu dihilangkan dan dibaca dibaca tanpa harakatnya, justru itu memiliki arti yang lain gitu.
Okay, Joe, Mr. Joe,
Yes.
I'm sorry because I want to ask you about personality.
Yes.
What's your religion? Messianism or Orthodox?
Sorry, what did you ask about Orthodox?
Orthodox like
I didn't hear the question. Could you repeat it, please?
maybe in Judaism, east of Judaism, who believes in Jesus?
Well, many
It's called
Jews. No.
yes. It's called Messianism.
Well, yes, we can call them Jews for Jesus or other. If you want to ask about inside of Judaism, who still attend a Jewish synagogue and live in a Jewish community. I'm an Israeli as well. For example, Israeli citizens who go to a synagogue and are part of the Jewish community. Those of us who believe in Jesus, we are called Jews for Jesus. And we tend to keep very secret. We tend to keep ourselves quiet. Then you have very loud believers in Jesus, and they call themselves Messianic Jews. They don't go to Jewish synagogues. They're not part of the Jewish community. They're not part of the Jewish people. They're not allowed to have citizenship in Israel, for example. They are a separate group. So there are many different kinds. There are many different kinds of Jews who believe in Jesus, and my group is I would describe myself as a Jew for Jesus, not a Messianic Jew.
All right. Jadi
Okay, bentar. Where do you live now?
I don't really want to tell you.
I think it is off topic.
Yes.
Itu enggak
No,
terkait di apa punya.
Maksud saya, apakah di Israel, apakah di luar Israel?
Joe, I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know if you like to answer this one, but he is asking whether you are living in Israel or not. That's
Right
all.
now, I'm not in Israel. Not in Israel. I'm a citizen of Israel. I vote in Israel. I'm not a citizen of. I'm not a citizen of many other countries. I have two citizenships, and currently I'm not in Israel.
I think
All right.
everybody knows
Because-
that from your accent where do you live, Joe.
Yeah, I was brought up in the United Kingdom. Just I don't want to say where I live right now. But yeah.
Alright, that's fair enough. Terima kasih Pak Punjaga. Kita terima yang lain ya, Pak Jemaat Online. Jemaat Online, silakan Pak, mau tanya langsung atau perlu diterjemahkan? Halo, Pak Jemaat Online. Mungkin sedang bikin kopi. Ini ada pembawa pesan. Selamat malam Pak pembawa pesan. Silakan Pak. Langsung ke
malam.
Pak
Shalom,
Jo.
Scott.
Salam.
Isha shalom to you, Joe.
Shalom.
It's nice to meet you.
You too.
So, yeah, just listening to your topic is very interesting. Hopefully, people will get a clear information that you try to bring it tonight for all of us, especially for the audience. So
Was it
just
clear
keep
to you?
quiet.
Did you understand
Very
the
clear.
point?
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's why that's why I suggest to Scott as a moderator here to bring us back to the topic instead of receiving another answer and then we just make us so confused.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll also share that screen again, so that we can see it again. Oh, I can't share.
Oke, Brother Scott. Jadi saya masuk untuk listening aja sambil dengerin topiknya balik. Salam buat semuanya. Semoga malam hari ini kita semuanya dapat pencerahan yang luar biasa dari Brother Joe. Thank you.
Baik.
I think we don't need to repeat it again because
Was it? So I'm just surprised that nobody has actually challenged that. I was expecting somebody to come and say, "Hold on a second, that's not what it says."
All right.
Did you? I mean,
Let me say something in this so that maybe maybe a Muslim can come to talk to you. I don't know. Teman-teman di luar sana, Bapak Ibu mungkin ada juga Muslim. Silakan. Ketika Bapak Ibu mungkin tidak setuju dengan apa penerjemahan yang disampaikan oleh Joe, silakan langsung naik ke room. Kita akan kasih kesempatan. Misalnya tidak setuju dengan apa yang disampaikan oleh Joe tadi, bahwa ketika dihilangkan harakatnya itu justru artinya berbeda gitu, dan ini yang dipercaya oleh Joe justru itulah arti yang sebenarnya gitu. Jadi kalau ada, sekali lagi kepada teman-teman muslim, silakan naik, mau ustadz, mau syekh, mau siapapun silakan naik untuk mempertahankan terjemahan atau arti yang selama ini dipercaya, yang kita percaya justru terjemahan itu berasal dari Abbasid gitu ya. Alright, so let's wait for, maybe they have something to us, but I don't see anyone.
What about you, Scott? What about you, Edis? Are you convinced by my explanation or not?
Well, I follow Alfadi. I follow also Thomas Alexander, Odon Lafontaine, and I do agree with them. So basically, what I believe is that many of the Quranic text is actually from maybe Syro-Aramaic or maybe Hebrew itself. I don't know, but maybe it's come from there. And then somebody just copy paste and then they put it together in the Quran, and then later on it's become a Quran, and that's basically destroy the narrative that Muslims say Quran was memorized by the Sahaba, but I don't believe that. I don't buy that anymore. I believe that all the Quran, all the ayat in the Quran are just borrowed from other texts. That's all. So it's already been in there. They just copy paste it. That's all. In addition to your explanation, to your presentation, I think that's another proof that basically the Arabic people, the Arabian, they don't really understand what the text tells about, and then they try to insert their narrative, especially the Abbasid people, maybe in there they try to insert their narrative in the Quranic text. I believe so.
Yes, Odon Lafontaine is a very big promoter of the idea that this Nasara word we look at does not refer to Christians, but refers to these scions that I described, these royalists. He's got a lot of work on that topic. Okay. And so when we're looking at that verse criticizing the royalists for saying the Messiah is the Son of God, we understand that these people were not followers, these Nasara were not followers of Jesus. They would have respected Jesus as a member of their family because he was also a scion. He was also part of the same family. But they wouldn't have given him any extra special status beyond any of the other anointed kings. They would have regarded him as just another human being who happened to be a potential candidate to be the Messiah, but they wouldn't have had any special love for him. And that's what this verse is about here. It's showing that that those Judo-Nazarenes, those royalists, it's criticizing them. It's actually criticizing those royalists and saying you're wrong because you think that any Messiah is the Son of God, when in fact only the Messiah, son of Mary, is the Son of God. And the Messiah, son of Mary, is your Lord, not your teachers.
Jadi kalau kita pahami, justru ayat tadi itu yang ada di dalam ayat At-Taubah 30 itu, justru itu sebetulnya mengkritisasi tentang ungkapan atau pemahaman yang menganggap bahwa semua orang Yahudi adalah anak-anak Tuhan. Justru yang dimaksud di dalam ayat itu adalah bahwa justru itu Mesaya itu yang merujuk kepada Mesaya yang spesifik ya, gitu. We have another Muslim here. I think I don't know if he can talk to you, but I will try to help him if he has any question. Here Ali Dosti. Selamat malam Pak Ali Dosti. Tadi dari apa yang disampaikan oleh Brother Joe, ada nggak keberatan dengan apa yang disampaikan oleh Brother Joe? Silakan Pak Ali Dosti. Mau langsung ke Brother Joe atau mau dibantu untuk diterjemahkan? Silakan.
Ya dibantu terjemahkan toh.
Boleh.
Nah, terima kasih banget Bang Scott. Jadi gini, sampaikan dulu sama Bang Judes itu kalau Bang Scott itu teman baik saya, Edis juga seperti itu. Ya salam dulu, assalamualaikum dulu sama itu Bang Judes.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Yeah, he said that he get along with us, brother Joe.
So Alice Dosti basically is a good friend of us as well. So
very good. Well, very
go
good.
ahead Ali Dosti. Silakan Bang Ali Dosti, silakan.
Ya. Tadi penjelasannya gimana? Saya kurang mudeng itu soal ganti harokat penghilangan harokat itu maksud coba tak simak dulu.
Pada dasarnya di dalam At-Taubah 30 itu kan disebutkan tentang orang Nasrani sama orang Kristen kan? Orang Yahudi sama orang Nasrani.
Iya.
Nah, itu kan di dalam terjemahan itu kalau kita lihat itu Joe mengatakan justru kalau itu harakatnya dihilangkan dan dibaca di dalam bahasa Ibrani, justru itu bukan itu masuknya. Justru memiliki makna yang lain daripada makna yang dipahami oleh teman-teman muslim saat ini. Karena kalau kita lihat At-Taubah 30:31 itu jelas menyerang orang-orang yang menuhankan Yesus, dibilangnya di situ kan.
Menyerang Nasrani juga menyerang Yahudi gitu.
Ya. Nah, tetapi Joe mengatakan justru ayat itu tidak mengatakan demikian gitu.
Terus harokat
Joe, can
yang
you
dihilangkan ini lafadz yang mana? Yang arbaban.
Oke, maksudnya gini aja Bang Ali Dosti. Joe, can you give us like a brief explanation? Can you summarize what you said? What was you said?
Yes.
What was you saying?
So very simply, this verse is not attacking Jews and Christians. It's attacking Judaizers and a type of Jew, one type of Jew, who believe that any Messiah is the Son of God or that any Jew is the Son of God. And this verse is actually saying, no, you two are wrong. Only the Messiah, son of Mary, is the Son of God. Only the Messiah, son of Mary, is Lord. You've taken your teachers as lords instead of God and the Messiah, son of Mary. And we can understand that because we have removed the harakah.
Oke, jadi Bang Ali Dosti, kalau bisa Bang Scott tampilkan saja At-Taubah 31. Jadi gini ya Bang Ali Dosti. Jadi Joe ini yaitu meneliti At-Taubah 31. Jadi menurut dari pandangan dari Joe, ayat ini sebenarnya mengatakan bahwa membantah klaim orang-orang Yahudi di mana Mesias yang lain itu adalah anak Allah gitu. Jadi banyak Mesias dan mereka pun juga adalah anak-anak Allah. Nah, yang Quran katakan, maksud dari Quran, yang hanya anak Allah itu yang hanya boleh dijadikan dijadikan arbaba itu rob itu hanyalah Allah dan Mesias anak Maria. Karena di situ kata wa itu yang menurut dia jadi dikatakan mereka menjadikan rahib-rahib mereka. Jadi nggak boleh rahib-rahib itu nggak boleh dijadikan arba gitu, arbaba ya. Jadi nggak boleh dijadikan ini. Yang hanya boleh itu hanyalah Allah dan Al-Masih gitu loh. Ya makanya kalau kita baca kan gini, mereka menjadikan orang-orang alim dan rahib-rahib mereka sebagai Tuhan selain Allah dan Al-Masih.
Al-Masih berarti enggak saya sedikit paham dengan apa yang disampaikan oleh Joe antara banyak Mesias di waktu yang bersamaan, kemudian ada satu Mesias yang diberi ya kan? Semisal kayak dalam waktu yang bersamaan ada kalau di keyakinan Islam itu ada Nabi Zakaria, Nabi Yahya, dan juga Nabi Isa. Itu mereka menjadi nabi dalam waktu yang bersamaan. Begitu juga Nabi Ibrahim dan juga Nabi Lot. Semisal kayak gitu lah. Terus yang boleh yang tidak boleh maksudnya rahib-rahib yang tanpa itu maksudnya gitu po. Gimana itu Bang Scott, coba diterjemahkan ke itu Bang Ju.
Waduh, terlalu panjang Mbak Ali Dosti. Kita dengarkan dulu dari Brother Joe lah. Nanti Bang Ali Dosti nanti coba diulangi lagi. Pendek-pendek aja lah Bang Dosti. Brother Joe silakan. Brother Joe, please go ahead first.
So I was just saying, so this verse, while we think and the way it's translated and the way the Abbasids want us to believe, they want us to believe it's attacking people who believe in Jesus,
okay, stop
the
there.
Son of Mary.
So stop there. Okay. So ini ayat-ayat ini orang-orang Abbasid memaksa kita untuk memahami bahwa ayat ini sebetulnya untuk menyerang kekristenan dan orang-orang Yahudi. Nah, jadi ini sebetulnya adalah narasi dari Abbasid. Itu yang dipercaya oleh Joe. Go ahead.
But in fact, what it's doing is it's attacking two non-Christian groups. Justru sebenarnya ayat ini kalau dicari arti sebenarnya justru ayat ini menyerang sebuah kelompok yang bukan Kristen, bukan juga orang Yahudi, bukan orang Kristen, tetapi sekelompok. Sorry, yes. So it's attacking two non-Christian groups who do not recognize the Son of Mary as the Son of God, and do not recognize the Son of Mary as their Lord. So it's criticizing them for not recognizing the Son of Mary. That's what it's actually doing.
Jadi pada dasarnya ayat ini justru mengkritisi orang-orang yang tidak mengakui Yesus sebagai Mesaya gitu.
So it's exactly the opposite of what the Abbasids want us to believe.
Nah, jadi arti sebenarnya justru sangat terbalik dengan narasi yang diperkenalkan oleh Abbasid ini gitu, yang kita tahu di dalam terjemahan yang sekarang ya, gitu.
Yes, paham, saya paham. Soalnya begini, kalau saya merujuk kepada asbabun nuzul, ini tidak sedang mengkritik Nasrani yang menuhankan Isa Al-Masih seperti itu. Intinya ayat ini tidak
singkat lah Bang. So Brother Joe, Ali Dosti said that if he checked on Asbabun Nuzul, he said that basically this ayat also mentioned that this ayat doesn't purposely attacking Christian or the Jews.
Correct.
Wait, can I add?
That?
Wait. Bang Ali Dorsi, berarti Bang Ali Dorsi bertabrakan dengan Zuma. Malah Zuma yang bilang Nasrani itu sesuai dengan Islam begitu. Yang Kristen yang dikritik. Jadi kebalik Bang Dosti dengan Bang Zuma. Here, Joe, there is a Muslim apologist in Indonesia says that Islam critic Christians but agrees with what we call this Nestorian. So it actually conflicting with what Ali Dotsi said.
Yes, this is actually conflicting. The Quran. Okay, now let me explain something interesting here. Abbasidism does not have a conflict with Nestorianism. Abbasidism. But the Quran has a conflict with Abbasids and with Nestorians. Because Nestorians, this is not about Nestorians, by the way. This verse is about Nazarenes. Judo-Nazarenes, that means the scions. But the Nestorians believe in adoptionism, and Abbasid Islamism is also okay with the idea of adoptionism. You may have heard the word ittihad. Ittihad is this idea of being they call in Sufism they talk about ittihad and fana, where you become united with God. This is okay in Abbasid Islamism. This is okay in Shafi madhab as well. But the Quran is actually very much against that. So there are many issues, and each issue should be separated off to talk about separately, and try not to mix it all together, otherwise you will get a messy picture. And also, although I can agree with some things that Odom Lofantan says, I cannot agree with anything that Thomas Alexander is saying, because he has a very different he has a very sort of Abbasid approach to things, and I don't take an Abbasid approach to things. So you have to separate off things and talk about things very carefully, otherwise you'll get confused, like Thomas Alexander has, for example.
Alright. Bang
Itu
Pak Dadri
bisa
bisa ini.
diterjemahkan nggak ya? Bisa diterjemahkan
Dadri aja.
nggak itu Bang?
Pak Dadri aja.
Itu
panjang kali.
jadi pada intinya yang saya
coba
Sebentar Bang Ali Dosti, biar dibantu Pak Dadri juga untuk
diperbesar dulu, biar nanti aku baca Arabnya. Soalnya ini nanti malahan saya kontradiksi sama Bang Zuma soalnya.
Iya, Bang Zuma pada diskusinya dengan Urban Channel mengatakan bahwa yang dikritik itu bukan Nasrani, orang Kristen malah. Jadi padahal orang Kristen bilang Nasrani itu sebetulnya bukan Kristen begitu. Ya, jadi pada intinya apa yang dikatakan Bang Jo tadi itu bahwa kita sering menggabung-gabungkan dan mensalahkan apa itu antara Nestorian dan Abbasid begitu. Itulah ceritanya yang saya kata. Jadi kita jadi complicated jadi sangat kompleks begitu. Karena kita jadi salah mengerti begitu apa yang sebetulnya yang dimaksudkan di sana gitu. Memang kepanjangan tadi apanya.
Oke. Sebentar, saya akan menanggapi apa yang disampaikan oleh Bang Dadri dulu, bahwa kesannya saya tidak sedang berselisih pendapat dengan saudara saya Bang Zuma Al-Abbas, kan kayak gitu. Jadi begini, saya setuju dengan Bang Jo bahwa
Bentar, saya terjemahkan. Ini Bang Jo ngerti nggak ini?
Enggak.
Joe.
Tadi.
Joe, he wants to answer me first that he doesn't want to be conflicting with his fellow Muslim that I said before that they criticize Nasrani, they criticize Christian, but they agree with Nasrani. But I said earlier that they're the other way around with what we believe.
Yes, in fact, that's exactly what I'm trying to say. Yes, you're right. The Quranic material that we're looking at here is exactly the opposite of what our friend is saying. It criticizes Nasrani, that is, it criticizes these royalists, but it doesn't criticize Masihi. It doesn't criticize Christians. In fact, this document we're looking at is a Masihi document.
Okay, let me translate to them. Jadi Bang Jo mengatakan, saya bukan translasi ya, mengartikan, mengatakan bahwa sebetulnya malah dokumen ini sebetulnya tidak mengkritik orang Masihi, artinya orang Kristen Mesianik, tapi malah mengkritisi orang Nasrani. Nah, itu berbalik dengan Bang Zuma, begitu. Mungkin jadi Bang Zuma yang kebalik nih, bukan Bang Dorsi. Oke, Bang Dorsi, silakan.
Ya ini sebentar, tadi kan saya setuju dengan apa yang disampaikan oleh Joe bahwa ayat ini tidak sedang mengkritik Nasrani yang istilahnya mempunyai Tuhan Isa Al-Masih, ya kan?
Bukan tidak sedang mengkritik Kristen. Tidak sedang mengkritik Kristen, tapi mengkritik orang-orang Nasrani, karena orang Nasrani itu begini loh. Saya jelasin dulu. Orang Nasrani itu adalah satu kelompok orang Yahudi beserta pendukung mereka, di mana mereka ini memiliki satu paham bahwa mereka ini adalah keluarga dari keturunan Mesias, keluarga Al-Masih, keluarga Masih ya. Nah, mereka ini mengatakan bahwa Al-Masih yang lain ya, banyak Al-Masih itu adalah anak-anak Allah, anak-anak Tuhan, dan mereka juga anak-anak Tuhan. Nah, itu yang ditentang. Sedangkan yang satu-satunya anak Allah itu hanyalah Al-Masih anak Maria, bukan Al-Masih yang lain. Makanya disebut Al-Masih. Ada kata sandang alnya, al.
Nah ini saya tak meluruskan dulu dengan Bang Dadri. Maksudnya saya tidak berselisih pendapat dengan Bang Zuma terkait ayat ini, bahwa sebagai Muslim kita memahami bahwa dalam satu ayat yang panjang terkadang di situ terdapat multi asbabun nuzul seperti itu. Jadi begini, dalam lafaz coba dinaikkan sedikit. Ya, cukup. Jadi dalam lafaz ittakhadhu ahbarahum wa ruhbanahum arbaban min dunillahi. Di sini memang ayat itu sampai potongan di sini tidak sedang mengkritik Nasrani ataupun kekristenan yang menuhankan Isa al-Masih. Tapi mulai dari wal masih ibnu Maryam wa ma umiru illa liya'buduna illallah wahidan, itu mulai di situ saya sependapat, tetap sejalur dengan Bang Juma. Seperti itu Bang Dadri. Ini enggak ada kaitannya dengan Bang Ju sepertinya.
Alright, terima kasih Bang Ali Dosti. Di sini sudah ada Pak Ibnu Kalam. Selamat malam Pak Ibnu Kalam. Gantian ya Bang Ali Dosti. Pak Ibnu Kalam. Selamat malam Pak Ibnu Kalam.
Ya, selamat malam Pak.
Iya, setuju nggak dengan apa yang disampaikan oleh Pak Jo tadi? Bahwa
buka cam nggak apa-apa. Buka cam nggak apa-apa Pak Kalam.
Ya. Apa di surat 31 ini?
30-31 Pak.
Ya, di At-Taubah 31. Mereka menjadikan orang-orang alim Yahudi dan rahib-rahibnya. Di situ sebenarnya tidak ada istilah Nasrani. Itu kan tanda kurung di situ. Tanda kurung.
Ya, mereka di situ siapa Pak Kalam?
Iya, kalau di zamannya Rasulullah orang Kristen dengan semua orang Kristen itu disebut Nasrani saja. Jadi orang Kristen apa saja semuanya disebut Nasrani. Nasara pengikutnya dari orang yang dari Nazaret. Dalam hal ini Isa al-Masih. Jadi bukan pengertiannya di situ tidak menimbulkan pengertian di dalam Al-Quran itu bahwa Al-Quran itu membagi kepada Kristen, Nasrani, dan lain-lain tidak. Tetapi semua pengikutnya Isa itu disebut Nasara, orang Nasrani. Begitu yang ada dalam Al-Quran. Dan yang dikriti di dalam Al-Quran itu tidak semuanya orang yang pengikutnya Tuhan Yesus itu yang lurus, ya, yang sesat saja yang dikriti itu. Seperti laqad kafara allazina qalu innallaha Isa ibnu Maryam, itu wanas. Kemudian salis wa salasa yang dikritik di situ adalah ajaran Trinity. Ajaran Trinity yang merujuk kepada setara semua, setara.
Oke, kita gantian di sini. Kita gantian ya.
Mana dalilnya Pak Ibnu?
Ya.
Dalilnya apa?
Soalnya kalau kita lihat dalil Trinity itu di Al-Quran bukan itu yang sebetulnya Trinity yang diketahui.
Ya, yang di Al-Quran Trinity itu Bapa, Anak, dan Bunda Maria.
Iya benar, bukan itu Kristen kan?
Ya, Bapa, Anak, dan Bunda Maria itu yang dikritik. Kemudian yang dikritik oleh Al-Quran adalah yang orang Kristen yang meyakini bahwa Isa al-Masih itu hasil hubungan suami istri. Kemudian yang dikritik lagi di dalam Al-Quran itu adalah Bapa itu adalah Anak itu sendiri, atau dengan kata lain oneness, ya oneness.
Oke, Pak Ibnu Kalam. Kita di sini ada Pak Aladin. Aladin, could you please identify yourself? I don't know if you are Muslim or Christian, and you want to have a discussion with John.
Excuse me. It seems to be that you are new here. You don't know me. Everybody knows me here. Edith knows me.
I don't know you.
Everybody. I'm a Muslim and I'm proud. I'm a Palestinian Muslim actually.
Good.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullah. كيف حالك?
So I'm glad, alhamdulillah, I'm glad that that's the red Judaism is here, because he's been running away from me for quite some time.
We don't expect somebody attacking personal attack is not allowed. Okay, please.
Just focus to the topic.
Yeah, stay on the topic, please.
Let me. It seems to be that I don't know the person who's talking. It seems to be that you are new here. I'm a good friend of Edith. I join them sometimes there for 3 hours talking together with love and harmony. Okay, so please allow me.
Go ahead.
Allow me to answer. Even Drew knows me. Everybody knows me. Allow me to answer the misconceptions. First of all, can you post on the screen the verse that you got about Wal Masiha? That the verse. That's chapter 9, verse
on the screen in front of you.
No, that's 31. 31. Wal Masiha.
Scroll
then
down.
I'll come back to 30. Then I will come back to 30. Very good.
Do you understand what haraka is?
Let me finish, please. Just relax. Don't be nervous and confused. Enjoy the ride. Okay? I'm here to answer the questions that you brought up. I'm here to accept your challenge. So let me answer 31, then I'll go back to 30. Okay? Now, it is caught up verse 31. And he always do that, trying to prove that Jesus is Allah or God from the Holy Quran, from Allah or Masiha. They like
nobody claim Jesus is Allah. SWT. No.
Not Allah. Nobody says Jesus is Allah. Let me make it very clear, Aladdin. I do not believe that Al-Masih Isa ibn Maryam is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I do not believe that.
Akhil Karim, I'm not talking to the Muslim, Barakallah fiqh, I'm Muslim. I'm talking to the Christians.
Do you know who is speaking here? This is Red Judaism speaking. I'm speaking to you. Red Judaism is speaking to you.
Oh, Red Judaism. So let me finish, please.
Nobody here
let me go to Edis first, then I'll come to you. You quote verse number 30. I'll speak about verse 30 after I finish from 31. So please stop.
Yes, but please be clear and don't confuse the issue, Allah, okay? Don't confuse the issue.
Aladdin, we are talking about the verse 30 and 31, and Joe already present his understanding about the verse. The translation should be his translation
altered by
so if you I don't know if you agree or not. Just present your argument. If you agree, then say agree. If you don't agree, then present your argument. All right,
moderator, if you mute me one more time, I will leave the studio.
Show some adab. Don't speak over people, Allah.
No. If you mute me one more time, I am out of here.
I will mute you if you don't speak nicely,
No. Exactly. I speak to him. Don't teach me how to speak, okay? Please.
Adab is very important for a Muslim.
If you mute me one more time, I will consider you running away.
Aladdin. Adab is very important for Muslim. You know that. Show adab.
I'm here to... yes, adab is very important also. Not to lie, and you are like very expert liar when you lie about the verse.
Then, Allah.
Aladdin, do you have an argument or not?
Ya, jangan kasih ruang main-main nih Bang Scott.
What is Edis?
Dia ini kayaknya mau kontrol moderator, malah dia mau ngatur.
Drew.
Gini aja.
And they muted me twice. If they will do this one more time, thank you very much, Alim.
Okay.
You can leave anytime, brother. You can leave anytime at your will.
Masalah.
Gini aja sebentar. Aladdin. Hello, Aladdin. This is me, Edis TV.
Yeah, I'm listening to you.
Okay, we give you a platform to explain your explanation, but please be polite. Don't be rude. Okay, just calm down.
It is. I am polite.
Show your manners.
No. Allah, to mute me, that was rude when I was trying to answer you. I was actually calling you.
I'm saying that this verse says that they have taken their akhbarhum and ruhbanhum as lords instead of Allah and Al-Masih Isa ibn Maryam. What do you respond to that?
Very, very simple. Can you show me what you said from an Islamic sources, please?
No, I don't believe in Islamic sources.
No. I don't need your own interpretation. We as Muslims, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Holy Quran.
This is that I'm giving my own interpretation.
Don't interrupt me, please. Let me speak.
I did not speak over you.
No.
The whole point is to give my own interpretation.
Listen to me, please. We as Muslims, we talk according to Islamic sources. I don't care about your explanation. So give me an Islamic sources saying what you are saying. Otherwise,
there is no Islamic
All right. Brother Joe, I think
we reject that.
Brother Joe, I think Aladdin misunderstood the topic. We already said that we don't believe the resource of the Muslim, especially from Abbasid. They just put something in there. They just we don't believe Abbasid. That's all. All right. We don't believe.
We reject all of the mutafsirun. We reject them all. And we're saying
you are telling me that you give your own tafsir.
Correct.
That's what you are telling me.
Exactly.
And you want to impose your tafsir on me. Right?
That's exactly correct. Yes, you understand exactly.
Now, will you please allow me to answer you to show you that even your interpretation is wrong?
Yes, please.
Without interrupting me. Now, do you know what is harf al-waw, letter waw between Allah and al-Masiha? Please answer me. What is that?
Without any of the mutafsirun, it's just an and.
I'm asking what is the job of this and? What do you call it in the Arabic grammatically? What is that grammatical in Arabic? Please tell me.
It's called it's conjunction.
Conjunction, very good. Harf al-atf. So what is the job of the conjunction letters in the Arabic grammars? Please tell me.
To join with the previous noun, to join two nouns together.
Very good. How do you know that they are both connected together? Please tell me. From the haraka, please tell me.
No, we don't. We reject haraka, Aladdin.
No. I'm talking to you now grammatically. Please answer my question.
Aladdin.
Aladdin,
Okay. Wait.
Reject haraka.
Aladdin, we already present Joe already presents his argument. We say in the beginning we don't accept haraka. We take off all the harakat.
Okay.
All right, and then we try to understand what is the exact meaning.
Can you read Al-Masih without haraka, please? Read. Can you read it for me without haraka?
Al-Masih.
Can you read it without? What is the last haraka at the last letter? What is it?
We don't need the haraka.
No. I'm asking you. Tell me, if you read it grammatically according to Arabic grammars, how do you read it?
Aladdin, when you take away
please
the
let me
haraka,
finish with him. Yeah, please answer me.
Yes, when you take away the haraka, the grammar changes.
Who told you? Where did you get that from?
Look, Aladdin.
Where did you get that from? No. Where does it say in Arabic grammars or anywhere in the Arabic language if you change the haraka, if you remove the haraka, it changes the grammars? Show me.
You don't
in this
need,
Allah wal Masiha. Show me.
You don't need to read the haraka grammar. If you remove it, you can change the grammar. Look, listen. Allah wal Masih. What does it mean?
I'm asking you very simple question again. No, you were doing very good job with me. You said
Allah,
that wow. Listen to me, please.
Allah
You said that.
Yes. What does it mean? You tell me. What does Allah wa al-Masih mean?
That's why I'm trying to teach you, but you don't want to listen. You're jumping all over me.
It means God and the
Aladdin,
Messiah.
please answer the questions, please.
No, I'm talking to him. He's not answering. He's jumping from a point to another. I say, what is God? Let me finish.
It means God and the Messiah.
No, let me finish. I'm not asking you in English. I am an Arab,
Okay, it
and I'm
means
reading
Allah
Arabic in front
wa
of me. I'm Arabic. I don't need your English translation. So I'm reading what is in front of me in Arabic.
Can you not hear? Allah wa al-Masih. There you go. That's what it means.
What is Allah? What is the last haraka in Allah?
I'm sorry, can you repeat?
What is the haraka in the word Allah and Al-Masih? Please tell me.
Why are you talking about haraka? We are not talking
No,
about
I want you to read it with haraka. Just
don't need haraka.
Why you are afraid to read it without
I'm
haraka?
not afraid. I reject haraka. Haraka was
Read
not
it.
there.
You reject it. You reject it. I want you to read it.
Aladdin, this is the second warning from me. We don't accept harakat. We already said that in the beginning.
Scott, don't tell me warning me. One doesn't work with me, please.
This is the second warning from me. I'm so sorry. You don't understand.
No, I care less about your warning. You don't know who you are.
Okay, then next time we'll meet next time, all right?
I think he just didn't understand.
It invented in 10th century.
Maybe he didn't watch the first 20 minutes of the show when we talked about the haraka and why we're not using it. I feel sorry for Aladdin. You know, I feel very sorry for him. He just simply doesn't. It's a very simple thing he doesn't understand. That we don't need haraka to read and understand these passages. This is the mindset of people who have been brainwashed by they have taken their imams and their sheikhs as lords besides Allah and Al-Masih Isa ibn Maryam. That's exactly what they've done, and it's very sad.
Ya, sekali lagi untuk Bapak Ibu, dari awal kita sudah tahu bahwa Joe itu mengatakan bahwa kita mau mengartikan kata per kata tanpa harakat. Nah, Aladdin memaksakan itu baca pakai harakat, dan kita sudah berkali-kali bilang kita harus membacanya tanpa harakat. Aladdin memaksakan baca pakai harakat. Nah, ini makanya saya pikir ini Aladdin kayaknya dia tidak paham-paham juga yang kita sampaikan. Joe already told that we don't need harakat to understand that one. That's why we try to understand word by word. And when we try to understand the word in the original form, it is in Hebrew. You mentioned Hebrew, Judeo-Arabic or something?
Arabic, yes.
Yes, and
Arabic,
then
yes.
when we use that one, and then we see another meaning of that passage or another meaning of that ayat in the original without the interpolation from Abbasid, something like that, because we reject the Abbasid in interpolation or translation or the narrative from Abbasid. That's the whole point.
Is he in the base stage? Is he still in the base stage?
Yeah, he is.
Aladdin, I'll give you some further advice to you, Aladdin. Before you join to the stream, please understand what are the first conversation here, because you come here without knowing anything in the first. You just come in the middle of conversation.
Thank you very much for interrupting me, for muting me, and for throwing me out of the stage. Next time, don't challenge me for a debate. I came here when you invited me. You are the one who invited me, and I accepted your invitation, and I was thrown out of the studio, and I was being attacked and muted several times. So thank you very much, Edis. When you will learn how to respect your guest when you invite us,
cry like a baby, please.
Aladdin.
Stay out of it. Will you please stay out of it? Thank you very much, Edis. I'm done with you. Bye bye. God bless you.
Okay, see you, Aladdin. Bye bye.
I'm not moderator. I'm not moderator.
It's very sad.
It's very sad. In the beginning, we said we don't need haraka because haraka is invented on the 10th century.
Amen.
How can it be Quran has haraka in the beginning? There is no haraka.
There's no haraka.
That's the whole point. That's the whole point.
For at least about, I think that at least 100 years we have no haraka, at least. So I mean, the earliest things we have is 100 years later. There's no haraka, and also everybody knows that the language that we're looking at here, it's not even modern Arabic. It's only with the haraka that we can suddenly understand that maybe this is some kind of dialect, like they call it Quraysh dialect. If you take away the Quraysh dialect haraka, suddenly we could read it in so many different ways. But I'm just saying, it makes perfect sense reading it from Judeo-Arabic. It's very simple. It's very clear. It's not difficult to understand.
Ya. Jadi maksudnya apa yang disampaikan oleh Brother Joe itu bahwa memang harakat itu tidak ada pada mulanya gitu ya. Jadi ketika ini diartikan dibaca tanpa harakat, dan kita bisa melihat bahwa itu gampang untuk dimengerti ketika dibaca di dalam Arabic Yudea. Itu yang disampaikan oleh Joe ini. Nah, tetapi itu yang disampaikan oleh si Aladdin tadi, mengatakan baca pakai harakat. Nah, ini yang saya pikir kita sudah sampaikan dari awal. We have another guest, Aki Papia. Do you still have some time, Brother Joe?
Yeah. I've got hours. Yes, no problem.
All right. We have another guest, Pak Agi Papilaya. Selamat malam, Pak Agi. Maaf kalau saya sebut nama Pak Agi. Selamat malam, Pak Agi. Halo, Pak Agi. Pak Agi Papilaya. Halo, Pak Agi Papilaya. Okay, maybe he is busy or something else. I don't know. Pak Ibnu Kalam, tadi kenapa tadi yang kita pertanyakan itu sebetulnya, apakah Pak Ibnu Kalam setuju nggak dengan apa yang disampaikan oleh Pak Jo ini? Pak Jo ini kan bilang begini, kalau kita baca huruf Arab ini tanpa harakat, justru itu jauh lebih masuk akal artinya ketika kita baca tanpa harakat di dalam Arabic Yudea. Nah, justru kalau ditambahkan harakat ini adalah sebuah narasi yang diperkenalkan pada zaman Abbasid, sehingga artinya menjadi seperti yang dipahami teman-teman Muslim saat ini gitu. Gimana menurut Pak Ibnu Kalam? Apakah setuju Pak Ibnu Kalam dengan apa yang disampaikan Brother Joe itu?
Ya, saya mau tanya dulu kepada yang Kristen itu, siapa namanya lagi yang bahasa Inggris ini?
Brother Joe.
Yes.
Ya, Brother Joe. Yang mana di dalam surah ini yang mau diberi, yang dipermasalahkan harakatnya? Ya, di dalam misalnya di dalam apakah at-tahazu atau ahbarahum? Atau ahbarahum yang dipersoalkan atau waruhbanuhum.
Okay, Brother Joe, he is asking which one actually doesn't need harakah. Which one?
Yang mana yang tidak mau dipakaikan harakat?
Semuanya Pak Ibnu Kalam, nggak perlu harakah katanya.
Oh, semuanya.
All of them.
So in the first 20 minutes of the show, I was explaining how in the earliest sources there is no harakah. So we have to learn how to read it without harakah. That's what I'm saying.
Jadi yang dibilangnya Pak Ibnu Kalam, dia bilang bahwa kita harus memahami ini tanpa harakah. Dan itu yang selalu dia bilang.
Saya setuju. Karena nantinya cuma satu kata saja, apakah waruhbanahum yang mau dipersoalkan atau arbabang.
Semuanya Pak Ibnu Kalam tanpa harakah, harus dibaca tanpa harakah.
Ya agak sulit kalau semuanya kan.
So I will explain what the issue that, for example, Aladdin was trying to bring up here is. He was saying that I'm ignoring the harakah on the words Allah wa al-Masih, Allah wa al-Masih. So with the harakah, this changes the grammar of the word al-Masih and makes it into an accusative proper noun, an accusative case. Well, al-Masiha. Okay? And if you put it into accusative case in modern Quraishi dialect, modern Arabic, then the word Masih should be joined together with akhbarhum and ruhbanhum. So they become all together part of the same group. But this is only possible if we have harakah, which was not there in the original text. So, in other words, the harakah was inserted onto the word al-Masih intentionally to change the meaning. But when we take the harakah away, the original meaning becomes clear again.
Bang Edis bisa bantu? Karena itu kan berhubungan dengan harakah-harakah ini, saya kurang paham kalau yang kayak gitu-gitu. Bang Edis atau Pak Dedro?
Iya, jadi gini masalahnya. Tadi kan si Aladdin kan mencoba untuk ngetes lah, ibarat kata dia itu ngetes Brother Joe untuk membaca huruf antara Allah dan Al-Masih itu dengan harakah. Nah, harakat apa yang ada di huruf terakhir H itu? Nah, terus si Joe bilang topik kita nggak bahas harokat. Karena justru topik kita malam hari ini itu menghilangkan semua harokat seperti naskah rasem, ya, seperti rasem, seperti tulisan Al-Quran without, tanpa nukhot, tanpa harokat, tanpa tanda bunyi, ya, tanpa vowel, ya, tanpa ini. Jadi, nah, sudah dijelaskan tadi dengan sangat jelas dan detail oleh Joe bahwa antara Allah dan Al-Masih itu ada kata injunction, ada kata penghubung dan, ya, wa itu kalau bahasa Inggrisnya itu and, ya, and itu bisa berarti dia itu melanjutkan ke kalimat sebelumnya. Contoh misalnya gini, saya dan Budi, maka saya dan Budi itu bersama-sama, seperti itu. Nah, di situ kan dikatakan mereka menjadikan alim-alim ulama mereka dan rahib-rahib mereka sebagai Tuhan selain Allah dan Al-Masih. Ini pernah dijelaskan oleh Christian Prince, ya. Ini saya rasa teman-teman sudah familiar dengan ini. Joe, did you say that the meaning of and the meaning of wa there are similarities between Allah and Al-Masih, but you didn't say that, right?
No, I'm saying that when we take away the harakah, the grammar of the word Masihi changes. And so instead of having an accusative case on the word Masih, instead of having it in its accusative case, it becomes a simple conjunction. It's a simple conjunction where you are uniting Allah and the Messiah together as the collective subject of the sentence.
Ya, jadi
they have sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
So they have taken noun group. They have taken group 1 as lords instead of group 2.
Ya, jadi ada 2 grup di situ ya. Grup yang pertama itu adalah rahib-rahib dan alim ulama, their monks and their rabbis, their monks and their rabbis. This is the first group, and the other group, Allah and Masih.
Correct. Yeah. So they have taken group 1 instead of group 2 as Lord. Well, the simple reading, that's Arabi Mubin, the simple reading is they have taken group 1 as Lord instead of group 2, i.e. group 2 is Lord, not group 1.
Iya, jadi ayat itu dipahami Jo bahwa ada orang-orang yang menjadikan grup pertama ini sebagai arbabanya, sebagai rab mereka. Nah, padahal sebenarnya yang harus dijadikan rab mereka itu adalah grup 2. Ya, mereka menjadikan rahib-rahib mereka dan alim ulama mereka sebagai Tuhan, instead ya, selain ya daripada Allah wa al-Masih.
And so in order to change, because this is very simple grammar, this is very plain, straightforward grammar. Without the haraka, this grammar is clear. This is called syntax. Means the syntax of the sentence is simple and clear. Group 1 instead of group 2. So in order to change the meaning, I'll let you translate that.
Oke, jadi apa yang dikatakan Jo di sini, ini sebenarnya membentuk satu sintaksis kalimat yang masuk akal kalau dipahami semacam seperti itu. Itu sebenarnya sederhana sekali. Itu straightforward ini langsung dapat dipahami gitu loh. Nggak pusing sebenarnya memahami itu gitu.
So in order to
jadi mungkin Joe, if I understand you, because of the haraka, the grammar change, such as a subject become object instead of object becoming subject. Because group 2 a subject instead of group 1. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
So what they've done is they've broken the syntax. They insert the haraka onto the word masih. They insert a haraka which breaks the syntax.
Iya. Jadi artinya karena harakah itu, karena penambahan harakah yang muncul kemudian, makanya gramatikal atau tata bahasanya itu menjadi jungkir balik begitu. Mengakibatkan kesalahpahaman itu. Seakan-akan rahib itu yang menjadi Tuhan, bukan Allah dan Masihi ini sebagai Tuhan begitu.
So it's a very
jadi
clumsy
memang
sentence.
Jadi memang karena penambahan harakah ini yang kemudian ini gramatikalnya berbeda. Jadi salah penafsirannya kan begitu, salah arti jadinya. Dari arti asalnya yang adalah Arab gundul without harakah, tanpa harakah gitu. Is that correct, Joe?
Yes, I think so. Yes. And so it ends up as a very clumsy sentence where when you put the haraka on, it's like it's saying they've taken group 1 as lords instead of Allah. Oh, and I also got Messiah Jesus, son of Mary as well. Sorry, I forgot about that. It's kind of like an afterthought.
Ya.
Jadi kalau gini.
Sudahnya, jadi afterthought sudah dipikirkan. Begitu. Jadi bukan udah mengganti artinya secara sengaja.
That's funny.
Kemudian.
Oops, Allah forgot. Sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
So it's just that, but you can see how.
Tapi saya jelaskan dulu. Sebentar. Let me explain, Joe. Jadi gini. Jadi seharusnya itu begini. Ini menurut Joe ya. Seharusnya kalau memang menjadikan al-Masih itu termasuk bagian yang dilarang, seperti dilarangnya menjadikan rahib-rahib dan rabi-rabi sebagai Tuhan, seharusnya itu begini bunyinya. Mereka menjadikan rahib-rahib mereka dan alim ulama mereka dan Al-Masih menjadi Tuhan selain Allah. Titik. Gitu. Kalau seperti ketinggalan begitu. Al-Masihnya itu kalau misalnya ditaruh di sesudah Allah, itu Al-Masihnya seperti ketinggalan di grup satu ini. Grup rabi-rabi alim ulama ini. Nah, gitu maksudnya.
Benar. Itu juga kata rock Christian itu begitu. Karena Allah masih bergabung sebetulnya, nggak bisa dipisahkan di sana.
Alright. Okay, before we go further, I would like to invite everyone also to subscribe to our brother Joe channel. He has his own channel. I don't know how to read this one in this letter. I don't know. Maybe you can introduce brother Joe your channel here. Brother Joe, you are still mute.
Sorry, yes, that says Taurat Ha'esha Yadua, Red Judaism, Taurat Edom. It's just a phrase in Hebrew to help any of my Jewish friends understand what we're talking about. It's a phrase from Judaism there. So, but Red Judaism is the name of my channel. If you Google it or if you search on it, Red Judaism, you will find my channel there. And yes, you're very welcome to subscribe. I will do later on after this, I'll be going and doing a show directly there after this. And I'll be happy to take questions from anybody as well if you speak English.
Perfect.
Yeah. Thank you so much for translating the meaning for that, Edis. I was just going to add on this, if I can, may I? I was just going to add this.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can you understand that by the Abbasids trying to break the syntax, to change the grammar so that Al-Masih doesn't belong to group 2, they want to put it back into group 1, by breaking the syntax and changing the grammar with the haraka, they end up making it look like Allah forgot to include Jesus in the first group, and he's just adding Jesus as an afterthought. So this insertion of this haraka is actually extremely blasphemous. It's insulting. It's saying, oh, and God's too stupid to have remembered that the first time, so he meant this to belong to the first group, but he was too stupid. He forgot. He got distracted. He's got so many things to get along with. It's a very blasphemous thing to do. So I would like Muslims to consider that. If you can understand how stupid, how clumsy it looks to just add Al-Masih Isa ibn Maryam on as an afterthought, how blasphemous that is, how insulting to God that is. And for this reason, this rational reason, you can understand that the insertion of this haraka was clearly done by men, by people who didn't have any respect for God.
Bang Edis, silakan Bang Edis.
Iya, Bang Dedro aja. Itu artinya
jadi menurut Bang Jo, sebetulnya dengan memasukkan harakah itu adalah merupakan suatu penghujatan kepada Allah itu sendiri, begitu, nggak ada rasa hormat kepada Allah, begitu, karena itu adalah perbuatan manusia afterthought, setelah dipikirkan, begitu. Itu maksud Bang Jo.
Saya lebih suka mempersoalkan masalah terjemahannya.
Saya tambahin sedikit. Gini, ada Pak Kalam di sini, bagus. Gini Pak Kalam, seandainya Pak Kalam, kalau memang Al-Masih itu masuk ke dalam grup 1, di situ kan ada dua grup Pak Kalam. Grup pertama itu adalah rahib-rahib dan orang-orang alim. Inilah yang dipertuhankan, ya kan? Saya bacakan gini. Mereka menjadikan orang-orang alim dan rahib-rahib mereka sebagai Tuhan selain Allah. Dan Al-Masih, ini kata si Jo, seolah-olah kalau seperti itu maknanya, Al-Masihnya ini seperti ketinggalan di grup 1 gitu loh. Apakah misalnya gini, apakah tidak seharusnya begini, kata si Jo ya, mereka menjadikan orang-orang alim dan rahib-rahib mereka dan Al-Masih sebagai Tuhan selain Allah. Nah, kalau seperti itu Al-Masihnya itu nggak ketinggalan. Ini kesannya seperti ketinggalan Al-Masihnya di belakang gitu loh.
Afterthought, sesudah
Ya,
pemikiran.
jadi begini dalam terjemahannya yang benar itu dalam bahasa Inggris yang saya baca. Tapi saya juga tidak tahu bahasa Inggris ya, saya cuma membacakan saja. They have taken their scholar and monks as Lord beside Lord, kata jama di situ, beside Allah, and also the Messiah.
And also nggak ada. And also-nya nggak ada.
Also nggak ada, ya betul. And
And
the Messiah.
only and.
Iya, ya. Only the Messiah.
And so they have.
Jadi saya ulang lagi. They have taken their scholar and monks as Lord beside Allah. Nah, itu yang lebih benar dibanding dengan terjemahan bahasa Indonesia itu.
So they're adding to the words. They have to insert the word also to try and make it fit. But that word is not there. It's very simple. Wa. That's all that's there. Just and. Allah and the Messiah. This is group 2. If you have to understand how much disrespect these Abbasids had for God, that they thought they could just correct his words. If they believe that this is his words, what kind of respect are they showing that they think, I'll just correct that? God meant to say this. I know that God meant to say that. I'll stick the word also in here. Can you imagine what kind of attitude of these people are? Are these believers?
Ya, Mr. Joe juga harus tahu. Begini Pak Edis. Harus diberitahu juga Mr. Joe itu bahwa istilah Tuhan di dalam bahasa Indonesia itu bukan merujuk pada God, tetapi Lord. Tetapi sebagian ulama itu menerjemahkan Tuhan sebagai God. Itu juga harus disampaikan kepada orang-orang Barat bahwa di Indonesia itu ada perbedaan antara Tuhan itu sebagai Lord dengan Tuhan sebagai God. Nah, ini bahasa memang menjadi masalah juga.
No. We aren't talking about God. We talking about Lord. Ya. Jadi
Ya,
di sini yang ingin dimaksudkan tadi Joe bilang apa ini nampak gimana yang ngomongnya? Apakah di sini
Arbaba itu memang Lord di situ, Arbaba Lord bukan God. Sama dengan Al-Fatihah. Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alamin, Rabbi itu di situ Rabbil Alamin Lord bukan God.
Ya, kita di sini ngomong Rabb. Kita di sini ngomong Rabb ya, Rabb.
Rabb itu Lord. Baik di Al-Fatihah juga Lord itu. Bukan God.
By the way, Joe, do you believe that Rabb is an Arabic language?
Well, it's Rab, it's Hebrew as well, you know. This means Lord.
All right.
Yeah.
It's loan word.
Master. For example,
master. Okay, master.
Rabbi.
Yes,
Rabbi.
master.
Rabbi. It means rabbi, my master.
Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alamin. Alhamdulillah, God.
Yes.
But Rabbil Alamin, Lord.
Well, that's
Lord.
What you're kind of hitting on the point here. The point here is that when they say they have taken group 1 as lords instead of group 2, and the very next part of the verse says, when they were commanded not to accept not to worship anyone except one God, and the implication here is that this was really written by Christians who believed that Jesus was part of the Godhead. That's really shocking, right? But that's why I say that Thomas Alexander doesn't know what he's talking about, because these were actually not anti-Trinitarians who wrote this. They were actually Trinitarians who wrote this. Because the word for Trinity in Arabic is al-thaluth. And the word for Trinity is missing from the Quran. It's been edited out of the Quran. It's been cut out of the Quran. And there is not a single criticism in the Quran against al-thaluth. There is no criticism against the Trinity in the Quran. So it means that whoever wrote this was a Trinitarian, did believe in Jesus as Lord, but the model of the Trinity that they were using is not very, what can I say? It's slightly different from the model of the Trinity that people might recognize today. I have an image here which will help people understand the Trinity as described in the Quran. I'll share. Can I share the screen?
Sure, sure.
All right then. Bear with me, here it is. Okay, so this, what we're looking at here, can you see this? Is that working? Not working? Let me try and see if I've got... Are you able to see that, everybody?
Yeah.
So what we're looking at here, this is the description of the Trinity as given by these Quranic materials when you have removed the rasm. When you have removed the haraka and you only look at the rasm, this is the Trinity, this is the Godhead described in the Quranic materials. There is one God, Allah Wahad, Ilaha Wahad, who is Al-Ab, which is the Rabb al-Alamin, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ilaha Wahad, one God the Father, who is also Spirit. Remember, the Quranic materials tell us that it tells us that we have to believe in the Torah, Injil, and Zabur, the 4 books we have to believe in. And it hasn't come to replace those 4 books. Of course, the Abbasid narrative has this doctrine of tahrif and says you have to reject those books. Those books have been changed. That's called tahrif. It was invented by somebody called Ibn Hazm. But if you throw away the Abbasids and throw away Ibn Hazm, then there is no tahrif mentioned in these materials. So they tell us that we have to believe in the Torah, the Injil, Zabur. Injil, of course, is the New Testament. And then in the New Testament, it tells us that God is Spirit. So this is, God the Father is Spirit. And then, of course, you have to be born of the Spirit. The Al-Masih Isa ibn Maryam is min ruhi. It says he's born from his Spirit. So the Father's begotten is begotten of the Spirit, not directly begotten of the Father. So it's correct to say, Kul hu Allahu ahad, Allah samid, lam yalid wa lam yulad is correct, because the Father is not the Walid, and the Father did not yulad the Walid. He did not give birth to the Walid. He is not the Walid and did not beget the Walid, but his Spirit begat the Walid. This is the Trinity, al-Thaluth, that the people who wrote the Quran, the Quranic materials, believed in. This is the Godhead that they believed in. So they're saying that these two non-Masihi groups, these two groups which are not Masihi, this Al-Yahud and this Nasri group, it's saying that they are wrong because they do not take, because they are taking group 1, their rabbis and their monks, as lords instead of Allah and the Messiah, who is one God. This is very controversial, but this is the model of Trinity in the Quranic materials.
All right, let me try to translate this one. This is very interesting. So ini adalah model trinitas yang bisa kita lihat dari materi Quran kalau harakat itu dihilangkan. Nah, kalau harakat itu dihilangkan, maka konsep trinitas yang diperkenalkan di dalam Al-Quran, ya, ini kita bisa lihat ada Allah Bapa yang adalah roh, ya, dan roh itu memperanakan anak, dan memang anak itu tidaklah lahir dari Bapa itu, tetapi diperanakan dari roh. Ini yang diperkenalkan di dalam Al-Quran itu. Nah, di dalam ayat At-Taubah 30:31 ini tadi, inilah yang dikritisi. Al-Quran mengkritisi kelompok-kelompok itu, ya, kelompok-kelompok Yudais tadi sama kelompok yang pengikut-pengikut keluarga kerajaan tadi. Mereka menuhankan rabi-rabi mereka itu, gitu. Nah, tetapi Quran mengkritisi, dia bilang mereka menuhankan itu daripada menuhankan Allah dan Al-Masih, yang dimana Allah dan Al-Masih ini adalah Esa, Tuhan yang Esa, gitu ya. Okay. Very interesting.
There you go. Okay, so that might help people to understand. When you think about some verses from the Quran now in your heads, you might be thinking, hold on, no, there's a verse which contradicts that. And you'll realize that there is not a single verse that contradicts this. Not a single one.
Jadi kalau kita lihat ini, justru di dalam Al-Quran tidak ada yang mengkontradiksikan hal ini di dalam Al-Quran, justru gitu.
So we're left with one conclusion.
Oke, kita akan tiba ke kesimpulan ya.
That it has to be that these materials that
I have a question for you, Joe.
Yes, sure. Go ahead.
Diagram.
Yes,
I know
sure.
that there are a lot of people. Muslims says that as if they believe God, the Father, has sex with Mary to give birth Jesus. Is that correct? It looks like this. It's like allusion that I thought always coming from the Muslim, because like in Al-An'am, verse 101, that Allah can't have son without a wife. Isn't that alluded to this?
No.
I thought this allusion is mistaken.
No. See, there were that thing that they're attacking is called tritheism. Tritheism. I actually have another image. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on. Let me use. I'll just unshare that, and I'll share something else.
Sure.
Okay, so let me just unshare.
Yeah, essentially, what I'm trying to lift is that they mistakenly what it means to be begotten.
Yes. Well, can you see this? Is this sharing now?
Okay, please wait. All right.
All right.
It's
So
online.
this is what we have. These are three different ways of talking about these. So Trinitarians, people who call themselves Trinitarians, or people who believe in the Trinity, in the 7th century Arabia, they would fall into three very common heresies. So the first description which I just gave, the image which I just gave, this image of the Trinity is called Oriental Orthodoxy. That's this sort of section here. I'll just kind of zoom in. This Oriental Orthodoxy. This is the model of the Trinity I was just talking to you about just now. But then, when you talk about the passages, like for example, they have taken Jesus' mother, or how can he have a walad when he has no spouse? Yes, no spouse. This is a response to this thing. It's called tritheism. Tritheism is a mistake that was made in the 7th century by some Christians. They got a kind of a mistake in their head as a result of the influence of a group of people called the Gnostic Christians. The Gnostic Christians believed that God the Father essentially, please forgive me for saying this on your channel. They believed that God the Father essentially mated with another God who was the mother God, and together they produced offspring, which is the Son. This is Gnostic Christian tritheism. So the Quran is kind of attacking those people and saying, how is it? There's no way that the father sired a child because he doesn't have a spouse like that. He didn't have a spouse. So what they're actually saying instead is not that the father does not sire any child. It is his spirit that begets the child. The Son of God, or the Walid, comes from the begetter. There's a reference to this also in the Quran as well. The begetter is what is it? Is it Surah 90? It says by the begetter and the begotten. Is it Surah 90? Let me just check and see.
Oke, biar saya bantu untuk terjemahin ya. Jadi pertanyaan Pak Dedru tadi itu bagaimana dengan ayat Al-Quran yang mengatakan bahwa Allah tidak mungkin punya anak karena dia tidak punya pasangan atau istri ya. Nah terus Joe bilang justru karena Pak Dedru apakah itu bukan sebuah serangan kepada kekristenan? Nah, Joe mengatakan justru itu merujuk kepada triteisme yang juga dikritisi oleh Al-Quran. Jadi paham tentang yang mengatakan bahwa Tuhan itu berhubungan dengan oknum yang lain untuk memiliki anak, itu justru kesalahan yang dibuat oleh sekelompok grup yang disebut sebagai kelompok grup triteisme ini gitu. Dan itu dikritisi oleh Al-Quran itu sendiri gitu.
Iya, jadi yang dikritik itu adalah triteisme ini memang adalah kelompok yang salah, adalah kelompok Gnostik.
Yes.
So there are three types of Trinitarian which are attacked frequently in the Quran. Those are the adoptionists down here, the Sabellian modalists up here, and the tritheists down here. None of them are anti-Trinitarian. It's just that they have what we might call heretical views of the Trinity. And so the Christians who were writing this Quranic material were trying to fight against the Sabellian modalist heresy, fighting against the tritheist heresy. Hence they say not three, say not thalatha, because al-thaluth is not thalatha. Al-thaluth is ilaha wahad. That means the Trinity is not three gods. The Trinity is one God. So
Joe, excuse me. So that means you imply that the Quranic text basically written by a Christian, right?
Yes, a Messianic Jew.
Alright. So jadi apa yang disampaikan oleh Joe ini dia sebenarnya mengimplikasikan bahwa justru karena teks-teks itu dituliskan oleh Messianic Jews ya atau Yahudi Messianik ya. Nah, di dalam teks-teks itu sebetulnya tidak menyerang Trinitas, tidak menyerang kekristenan. Justru yang diserangnya itu adalah, yang dikritisi itu adalah paham Sabellian modalism ini, kemudian paham adoptionism ya yang dari Oriental Orthodox view ini, dan kemudian juga mengkritisi paham triteisme ini gitu. Jadi sama sekali tidak menyerang kekristenan yang memiliki paham Trinitas gitu.
Ada juga kalau misalnya Joe, if you look inside the Quran, there is Trinity in Quran is Jesus, Allah, and Mary. What kind of
that's what they're attacking here is tritheistic, not Gnostic tritheism. The Quran is not presenting this as the Trinity. The Quran does not present this. The authors of the Quranic materials were Messianic Jews in the Oriental Orthodox persuasion. They had this view of the Trinity. And so they are attacking people who had a different view of the Trinity. That's the tritheistic view. The Father, the Mother, the Son. This is Gnostic tritheism. Yeah. So they're saying it's not. So if we go back to the other model, let me just try and see. Am I still sharing this picture? Or is this not sharing? Oh, I have to switch through. Hold on. Let me try and get this model. How am I going to get that? Can I share two images, or is it not possible for me to share two images?
It is not possible.
I just have to unshare, right? I see.
Yes.
So then, just going back to this model. So going back to this model, we see that the Father does not beget, and he has no spouse with whom to beget the Son. The Son is simply directly begotten of the Father's Spirit, which is part of the Father. It is not a spouse. The Father has no spouse with whom the Father begat the Son. Do you see? So that's what the Quran is saying. God does not have a spouse with whom he begat the Son. That's what the Quran is saying. You understand?
Ya. Jadi apa yang disampaikan oleh Al-Quran itu adalah bahwa anak itu tidak dihasilkan dari hubungan antara bapa dan pasangannya, tetapi anak itu dihasilkan diperanakan dari roh ini gitu ya. Jadi itu kalau kita lihat garis datar di atas itu bahwa bapa tidak memperanakan langsung, dan ketika Al-Masih itu anak, itu ketika anak itu tidak dihasilkan dari hubungan antara Allah dan sosok yang lain gitu. Nah, ini sebetulnya justru Al-Quran ini mengkritisi yang mengatakan sebaliknya gitu.
And just to let you know, if you look at the exact wording of the Nicene Creed, which I actually do have, so I'll just stop sharing this as well. If you look at the exact wording of the Nicene Creed, it does say that he was begotten, that is, and it clarifies. It says, okay, this is the Father's begotten that is of the essence of the Father. So even the Nicene Creed is making it clear and trying to clarify that the begotten Son was not begotten directly of the Father, but was begotten of the essence of the Father. And in the Apostolic Creed, it says that he was begotten of the Holy Spirit. So there is room to understand that these Messianic Jews who wrote this Quranic material, they believed in the Nicene Creed and they believed in the Apostolic Creed. They just objected to a variation which began at the Second Ecumenical Council of Constantinople, where they dropped that phrase begotten of the essence of the Father and they started to say begotten of the Father. So this group of Christians were not happy about people dropping the wording of the Nicene Creed. And that group of Christians are the Oriental Orthodox Church, who until today still use begotten of the essence of the Father. For example, Armenian Church.
Oke. Jadi kalau kita lihat ke Nicene Creed itu apa sih bahasa Indonesianya? Saya lupa.
Nicene Creed.
Credo Nicea.
Credo Nicea itu paham yang sama juga disampaikan di dalam Credo Nicea itu, bahwa memang anak itu diperanakan tidak langsung dari bapa itu, tetapi dari roh ya, dari esensnya gitu. Dan kemudian orang-orang Messianic Jews ini tidak senang ketika frase itu dihilangkan ketika ada Constantinople Nicene. So they are not happy when they drop the phrases on the next.
That's right. The Oriental Orthodox Church are not happy about dropping this phrase.
Jadi Orthodox Oriental ini, Oriental Orthodox are Messianic Jews as well, Messianic Jews.
So the Messianic Jews, or at least the Jew we're talking about who wrote this materials, or the Jews who wrote it, they converted to an Oriental Orthodox belief in Jesus. They didn't. They didn't convert to a Roman Christian or a European belief in Jesus. They accepted an Oriental Orthodox belief in Jesus.
Jadi orang-orang Oriental Orthodox ini mereka tidak senang ketika frase itu dihilangkan. Maka itulah mengapa di dalam teks itu mereka mengkritisi itu, gitu, mengkritisi.
So I've got here a little. It's a little bit more detailed. So what we see here is I've put in the wording of the Nicene Creed down here. So this says, please forgive my Greek pronunciation. I'm not a native Greek speaker, but this says genethenta ektopatros. So that's the begotten of the Father, the begotten Son of the Father. And this is from the Nicene Creed. It's genethenta ektopatros monogene totestin ektes ousias to patros, which means the begotten of the Father, begotten that is of the essence of the Father, i.e. not begotten directly of the Father. That's the creed, that's the Nicene Creed. So So the begotten one of the Father's begotten, was begotten of his essence, the Spirit, not begotten directly. And, of course, not, as the Gnostic Christians say, begotten by mating with a mother goddess.
Oke, jadi kalau kita lihat dari Credo Nicea ini kalau kita lihat bahasa Yunaninya, memang anak tunggal Allah itu diperanakan dari roh inilah ya, dari roh ini gitu. Tidak langsung dari Bapa, tapi melalui roh ini gitu. Itu yang juga yang mirip dengan apa yang ada di dalam Al-Qur'an kan.
And so that's this Oriental Orthodox model, this monophysite or miaphysite model.
So what I think is that when we go deep to understand the text of Quranic text, we can see that basically the text emphasize the Christian belief.
Yes.
Isn't that?
Yes, it is. And it's only the haraka which changes that.
Yeah, because of the haraka, and that's because of the Abbasid encounter. Maybe they try to add their narrative, and then that's make the meaning of the Quranic text become changes, right? They change the meaning of the Quranic text from the original one.
That's right.
Ya,
And
jadi
sorry.
Ya, sorry. Jadi kalau kita perhatikan ini kalau kita perhatikan dari hal ini, justru kalau kita lihat di dalam teks-teks Al-Quran ini, justru kita bisa melihat bahwa teks-teks ini sebetulnya menegaskan tentang iman kekristenan itu sendiri. Nah, tetapi penambahan harakat-harakat ini ya yang itu berkembang pada masa Abbasid ini, itulah yang mengubah makna yang sesungguhnya ini. Dan inilah yang dipahami oleh Muslim saat ini. Ini yang sebetulnya yang mau disampaikan oleh Brojo. Ya.
And so, and the reason is very simple. Do you know the phrase "to catch a thief"? You have to be a thief to catch a thief. Have you heard that phrase?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think you have to be a you have to be a Messianic Jew to catch a Messianic Jew.
Right.
So in order to identify the Christianity which is presented in these Quranic materials, you have to actually have been a Messianic Jew, and we have to, or a Jew for Jesus, and you have to accept that there are just not that many Jews for Jesus in the world. There are just not that many. The vast majority of people who believe in Jesus are not Jews for Jesus, and so and that's always been the case. That's always been the case. So even though these materials were created by Jews for Jesus, by Messianic Jews, and therefore as a Messianic Jew, I can see, this is actually Christianity. This is actually a Jew who believed in Jesus, and he's just fighting against Sabellians, adoptionists, tritheists. The fact is, if this leader was very powerful and successful and everybody liked his poetry, and then he dies, the fact is, there are just not that many Messianic Jews around, and eventually the majority view, that's the Nestorians, would have taken over control of the community, and they would have pushed their view, which is a Nestorian view, on the Messiah, even though these materials were popular. So they just inserted haraka to change the meaning of this Messianic Jews text so that they could keep it, make it look like they were not fighting against him, that they were somehow keeping the tradition alive, even though it's exactly opposite from what this Messianic Jew was doing. Do you follow? Do you understand what I've just explained?
Ya.
Yes.
Jadi apa yang oke, silakan Pak Dedro.
Silakan saja.
Jadi apa yang disampaikan oleh Brother Joe ini, dia bilang bahwa kita sering mendengar frase yang mengatakan ya untuk menangkap pencuri itu ya kamu harus jadi pencuri. Itu kan frase ya, bukan dianjurkan ya. Oke. Nah, sama seperti ini juga untuk mengerti ini ya kita harus memahami dari kacamatanya orang Messianic Jews. Ya, dan ketika ini dipahami dari kacamatanya orang Mesianius ini, maka kita bisa melihat ini sebetulnya memang justru lebih mencerminkan kekristenan dan teks-teks itu untuk mengkritisi paham-paham yang lain ini seperti Sabellian modalism, triteisme, kemudian adoptionisme ini gitu ya. Dan kemudian sekalipun itu teks-teks ini sudah populer pada masa itu, tetapi yang lebih menguasai pada saat itu justru yang berkembang orang Nestorian gitu. Sehingga diperkirakan Nestorian inilah yang justru menambahkan harakat-harakat ini sehingga pada akhirnya berubah gitu ya. Berubah maknanya ini gitu. So do you mean the Nestorian also in the time of Abbasid, so they changed, they add the haraka in there?
Yes, I think that there was a major sort of Nestorian, a very major Nestorian party, which was in alliance with the Abbasids. Remember, Nestorians are adoptionists essentially.
Oke, jadi pada masa Abbasid ini ada sekelompok besar orang-orang Nestorian ini sehingga mereka mempengaruhi tentang penambahan harakat ini ya. Nah, yang pada dasarnya orang-orang Nestorian ini adalah kelompok-kelompok yang memiliki atau yang menganut paham adoptionism ya. So they adopt, so their view were adoptionism ya.
Yes, the Nestorians favored adoptionism, and at this point, Thomas Alexander is correct. That's where what he's talking about is comes in with the Abbasids. Yeah.
Oke, dalam beberapa hal Brother Joe tidak setuju dengan Thomas Alexander, tetapi untuk masalah Nestorian ini pengaruhnya terhadap penamaan harakat itu dia sepakat dengan Brother Thomas Alexander. Okay. Alright.
So everybody's right. It's just about putting us into order. If you order what each of us are saying in the correct sequence, you can find that there's not really much contradiction. But we don't sit down around a table talking to each other. We're independent, researchers doing our own things. But everybody's got an element of the truth. They're all hitting on a point. A key point.
I'm looking forward to it. Jadi yang disampaikan oleh Brother Joe itu sekalipun dari para ilmuwan itu mereka memiliki cara pandang berbeda-beda, tetapi ada kebenaran di dalam hasil penelitian mereka itu. Nah, masalahnya adalah sampai sekarang mereka ini para ilmuwan ini belum duduk bersama satu meja untuk mengkoneksi untuk menghubungkanlah semua informasi-informasi yang mereka kumpulkan itu gitu.
Okay, so I will unshare this screen now.
Yeah, I found this is very interesting, and I think also I do agree. Recently, I think recent 2 months, I come into my understanding that basically the Quranic text actually talking about Christianity, but some of them are interpolated, or maybe some of the people in the Abbasid time they just add something in there, and it's makes sense right now if the haraka is the problem, was the problem. All right.
Yeah. Not just that, of course, there were, even the Abbasids admit in the standard Islamic narrative, they say that, I think they say that we only have 1/3 of the original Quran, that 2/3 are missing. And that's the standard Islamic narrative. So I think that's true. It's not only have they changed they've inserted the haraka to change the meaning, they also got rid of 2/3 of it.
Alright. Jadi menurut Brother Joe, dia bilang bahwa informasi yang kita dengar dari sumber-sumber Islam mengatakan bahwa ada sekitar 2/3 sebetulnya Al-Quran itu hilang gitu, dan itu mungkin saja benar, ya. Jadi bukan hanya penamaan harakah yang menjadi masalah, tetapi hilangnya 2/3 dari isi Al-Quran itu, dan itu berasal dari sumber-sumber Islam sendiri gitu. Yep, go ahead.
So that's really I hope that I've answered everybody's questions about this. I mean, there's only one thing left really to say, and that's that. Well, who was the principal author of the of these materials, and I've done videos about it before on my channel. The question is, it's a video called "Who is Muhammad?" or "Who was Muhammad?" And I've explained in detail who that person was. But this is obviously from a non-Islamic point of view, from a non-Abbasid point of view, using only sources which are available to us from non-Islamic sources and 7th century sources. And what we end up with is a story of something called a Karaite Jew. It's a kind of Jew called a Karaite Jew whose name was Omar. And he was a conqueror, like a messiah. He presented himself as a Elijah, conquering the Holy Land with a Jewish and Arab army. He expected that after conquering the Holy Land and building a little temple shrine there, which he did, he expected the heavens to open and the Messiah to come down from heaven. But it didn't happen. And after 10 years, this Karaite Jew converted to monophysite Christianity. He became a Messianic Jew. And at that point, he started writing these materials.
Oke. Jadi apa yang disampaikan Brother Joe, dia bilang begini, bahwa ini sumber-sumber ini adalah sumber-sumber yang dia dapatkan dari non-Abbasid. Non-Abbasid material. Jadi ketika ini dilihat, mereka mendapatkan bahwa pada masa itu ada Umar yang sebetulnya dipresentasikan sebagai Elijah, ya, right? Yeah. So jadi dia menguasai tanah Arab dan dia berharap bahwa surga itu terbuka sehingga Mesias itu datang yang kedua kali. Tetapi setelah 10 tahun tidak datang Mesias ini gitu. Nah, oleh karena nggak datang, dia kemudian convert to Messianic Jews, right? Dan dia menjadi convert ke Messianic Jews, dan kemudian dialah atau he or his friend wrote these materials.
Yeah.
Okay, jadi timnya.
I forgot to say the name of the person who converted him was called Gabriel, by the way.
Okay, so jadi setelah dia tidak melihat bahwa Yesus tidak datang yang kedua kali, lalu dia pindah jadi Messianic Jews, ya. Nah, kemudian yang memualafkan dia menjadi Messianic Jews itu rupanya si Jibril gitu. Yep. Nah, siapa yang menulis material ini? Ya, ini adalah timnya si Umar gitu. Nah, Bapak Ibu, ini saya let me make a disclaimer. You may agree or disagree with this material. Please, it's depend on you. This is from Brother Joe. So maybe you have another argument. We would like to invite you to maybe to confront with Brother Joe as well. Jadi Bapak Ibu yang mungkin ada Bapak Ibu yang sepakat atau tidak sepakat dengan apa yang disampaikan oleh Brother Joe ini, karena ini adalah sesuatu yang baru juga. Ya, saya juga merasa ini termasuk baru, sekalipun saya sudah mendengar sedikit-sedikit lah sebelumnya. Nah, kalau misalnya Bapak Ibu tidak setuju dengan apa yang disampaikan oleh Brother Joe, silakan untuk bergabung dengan kita untuk membicarakan hal ini. Oke, go on.
Iya, perlu juga ditekankan, Brother Joe bilang sumbernya bukan sumber Islam.
Nah, sekali lagi bahwa sumber yang ya betul. Udah bahasa Indonesia lagi.
Iya, beri dulu kesempatan saya menjelaskan kepada Pak Joe.
Oke, silakan Pak Ibnu Kalam.
Ya, perlu diketahui oleh Mr. Joe bahwa dia harus memahami juga bahwa di Islam itu ada beberapa kelompok, ya. Terutama misalnya kelompok Mu'tazilah dengan ahli sunnah itu sangat berbeda pendapat. Di mana kelompok Mu'tazilah itu memahami Al-Quran dengan hadis itu tidak sama dengan kelompok ahli sunnah wal jamaah.
Oke, biar saya
begini, kalau di dalam
biar saya translasi dulu Pak, panjang kali nggak tahu nanti saya. Jadi what Ibnu Kalam said is that Brother Joe may need to understand that in Islam there is there is a disagreement between the group in Islam itself. For example, between the Mu'tazilah and Ahli Sunnah wal Jamaah. Ya, Sunni.
Katakan saja Sunni, ya.
Alright.
Ya.
Lanjut Pak.
Ya, kelompok Sunni itu yang cenderung keliru menafsirkan Al-Quran.
Mana Pak? Coba.
Kelompok Sunni itu yang cenderung keliru menafsirkan Al-Quran.
So Ibnu Kalam said that the group of Sunni usually or most likely make a mistake in understanding Quran.
Ya.
Yes, probably.
Kebodohannya ahli Sunni itu berawal dari tidak memahami, tidak mempelajari konsili Nicea dan tidak tahu sains dan teknologi.
So the main problem is the main problem of the Sunni group is that because they don't understand the nation creed, the science and the technology as well.
Yeah.
Ya, dan yang ketiga yang terakhir ini, dia tidak mengikuti apa yang tertulis di dalam surah Al-Baqarah.
And the last one is that the third one is that the Sunni group also they don't understand or what was written in Al-Baqarah.
Ya, mengikuti percaya kepada Al-Quran dan kitab-kitab yang diturunkan sebelumnya.
That's what was written in Al-Baqarah is that the Muslim need to believe in Al-Quran, Quran and other books as well.
Ya.
Yes.
Golongan Sunni itu lebih cenderung apa istilahnya itu? Dia lebih percaya hadis daripada Alkitab.
Alkitab atau Quran?
Oh, the Bible.
Alkitab.
Okay. So the Sunni group is actually
begini maksudnya. Al-Quran memerintahkan untuk percaya kepada Al-Quran dan kitab-kitab sebelumnya.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So the Sunni group they believe in they believe hadith more than
Alkitab.
Than Alkitab, yes.
More than Alkitab and more than
basically,
the Quran.
Yeah, but basically in Al-Baqarah said that they need to believe in the Quran and Bible as well.
Torah, Injil, Zabur, yeah.
Yes.
Kutub Allah.
Ada lagi Pak Ibnu?
Ya, itu saja dulu sementara.
Okay, that's all.
Well, thank you so much for adding that, Ibnu Kalam. It's very enlightening and important point.
All right. Final thought? Final word?
Well, so if anybody's got any passages from the Quran that they say, hold on a second, this verse is against Christians, or this verse is against Jesus, or something, I would recommend you bring it, post it underneath this video later, and I can explain away. This is not just a one-off. You know, there is a complete there's a complete paradigm, a complete view that I can present to you, and I can explain every single verse according to this view, which will eventually end up, I think, at least challenging you to consider that there are essentially two Qurans. One is the Quran without harakah, the Rasm Quran, which is a Messianic Jewish document under the influence of Oriental Orthodox Christians. And there is the modern Islamic Quran, which is an Abbasid document promoting a new religion.
Oke, jadi kalau Bapak Ibu menemukan sebuah ayat yang dianggap menentang kekristenan, silakan posting ayatnya di kolom komentar di video ini. Mungkin ada di videonya Brother Joe atau Bang Edis atau di sini. Dan nanti Brother Joe akan menjelaskan ke kita, karena dia mengatakan ini bukan hanya ayat ini saja masalah ini terjadi, tetapi ini secara keseluruhan, dan dia mengatakan bahwa ayat per ayat itu Brother Joe bisa mampu untuk menjelaskannya. Yang kemudian adalah teman-teman muslim juga perlu memahami bahwa dengan video ini setidaknya menantang teman-teman muslim untuk berpikir bahwa setidaknya ada dua Al-Quran, ya. bahwa ada Al-Quran tanpa harakah yang merupakan dokumen dari orang-orang Mesianik Jews ini, dan kemudian ada Al-Quran yang merupakan atau Al-Quran yang sudah terjadi penambahan harakat ini gitu, atau yang disebut dengan modern Quran atau Quran yang terbaru, kira-kira gitu, versi terbaru lah.
That's all I've got to say on it. So thank you so much for having me on your show.
Yeah, thank you very much also for coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. So
Before we
I don't
end the
believe there-
show, okay,
Jadi
before
nggak
we,
saya percaya
before
lagi kalau dikatakan bahwa Al-Quran itu teks asli. Sering mereka mengatakan baca Arab teks asli. Padahal yang aslinya nggak ada harakat begitu ya.
Ya.
Oke,
So
sebelum kita
basically,
akhiri ya.
Ya, silakan Pak Edis, Bang Edis, silakan.
Sebelum kita akhiri, teman-teman, teman-teman kalau mau banyak ilmu, itu mampir aja ke channelnya Joe. Itu channelnya itu Red Judaism. Dan yang bisa English, ya, yang bisa speaking English, bisa aja mampir ke channelnya Joe. Kadang-kadang juga ngobrol. Saya juga di sana dulu sering lah. Dulu tapi ya, waktu Joe masih sering buka link. Sekarang dia udah jarang buka link, dia nggak tahu kenapa. Saya tanya, katanya karena para audiens itu juga sering ini. But Joe,
Yes.
Joe, I think people on the chat prefer like to listening about our Bible.
Yes.
If God gives us any change in the next lecture, we can talk about a Bible, because you know.
Of course. Yeah.
There are a lot of questions. You know, I myself actually have a lot of questions about our Bible.
Oh yes, you're welcome. You're very welcome. You can come and also onto my show and ask me questions, because I love to talk about the Bible. You know, this is my thing. This Islamic issue is just one aspect of what I do. I'm a missionary, really. I'm trying to encourage people who are falling away from the Bible. I want to try and encourage them with evidences that they can not give up on the Bible, come back to it. Maybe some people need to hear a Jewish perspective sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm also very happy to talk about that anytime.
Thank you, Joe.
Very
Shabbat
nice.
Shalom, Joe.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you so much for listening. God bless you all. I wish you all
Thank
have a
you,
very
everyone.
holy and happy Sabbath. And do, come and join me anytime. And also we have a Discord server as well. You can join us on Discord too. So anytime. Looking forward to chatting with you again. Thank you so much for having me. And I was going to say, remember this. I want to make sure this point is clear. We are not talking about the Quran from my point of view. From my point of view, this Quran is not a divinely revealed book. This was not a divinely revealed book. This was a what we call liturgical drama written by this Messianic Jew and his team to try and encourage other Jews, Ishmaelite Jews and Arabs, to convert to a belief in Jesus. That's what I believe it was. It was never meant to be taken as divine scripture. It was never meant to replace the Bible. It was only meant to, the equivalent of like a movie, like a Mel Gibson movie, The Passion of the Christ, or Jesus of Nazareth movie, or something like that in the old days, just to try and introduce non-believers to the story of Jesus. And if you want to know more about it, you really do have to go to the Bible and study and believe the Bible. And I think that's what these materials were created as. They were created as liturgical dramas. They also call them mystery plays sometimes, to introduce non-believers to Jesus, to the Bible, in a very entertaining way. And it was never meant to replace or be taken as divine scripture. That's just, I want to make sure that people get that view. And at the end of the day, if anything that I've said has made you think this is interesting, then I will encourage you not to get your answers from this Quranic materials, but to go to the Bible and get your answers from there.
Bang Edi, silakan.
Oke, thank you. Ya udah dapat lah poinnya.
Oke, jadi apa yang
Ya,
disampaikan oleh
sampaikan juga kepada Mr. Joe bahwa ajaran Islam itu mirip dengan ajaran Arius. Itu juga perlu Mr. Joe ketahui.
Alright, so Brother Joe Ibnu Kalam said he think that Islam is actually similar with Arius Arius view,
Arianism.
or Arianism. Okay.
Yeah.
So apa yang disampaikan oleh Brother Joe ini, dia bilang bahwa ini adalah pemikiran dia ya, pemahaman dia, bahwa dia memandang bahwa Al-Quran itu bukanlah sebuah pewahyuan, bukan hasil pewahyuan, tetapi justru itu adalah teks-teks yang ditulis oleh orang-orang Mesianik Jews untuk mengajak mengajak orang-orang yang belum percaya kepada Yesus pada awalnya gitu. Jadi kalau misalnya Bapak Ibu mau mengetahui sebetulnya lebih dalam, ya lihat di dalam Alkitab itu sendiri. Jadi itu yang disampaikan oleh Brother Joe. Kemudian jangan lupa juga untuk subscribe ke channelnya Brother Joe. Saya yakin di sana juga banyak hal-hal yang perlu untuk mungkin untuk dijadikan sebagai bahan diskusi. Saya pikir itu sangat menarik ya. Thank you Joe for coming, and thank you for your materials. Thank you everyone. Terima kasih Bapak Ibu semua yang mendengarkan.
Terima kasih. And I'll say berjumpa lagi. See you next time.
See you next time.
Sampai jumpa.
Alright.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Oke. Bye-bye. Terima kasih ya Bapak Ibu, saya N ya.